Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 1 kilosecond. 1 insufficient system energy, inheriting Saitama's legacy. Next chapter. Advertisement. Look at the high beams of the approaching car. Hearing a touch, Nangong Hazuki's eyes were darkened. In his confusion, he seemed to have heard a strange sound in a daze. System loading. 3%, 5%, 19%, 20%, 35%, 50%, 56%, 78%, warning. Warn. Insufficient energy. Hokage Ninja World, Konoha Village. The day has finally come. The Hyuga family resides at number 7, in a remote courtyard. A little boy in a white dress is doing push-ups hard. He has long hair that is unique to the Hyuga family. 80.86. 0.89. The tender voice reverberated, and sweat dripped down Xianyu's temples, but he didn't care at all, and instead accelerated to do push-ups. 98. 99. 100. Finally done. Hazuki breathed a sigh of relief. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10 kilometers run, 3 years, I did it. Quote. Taking a deep breath, there was a ray of light in his jade-like white eyes. As a traveler, Hazuki finally activated the system when he was 5 years old. Although the system energy is insufficient, only the mechanical system tasks are activated. But he still got 3 options, one of which was to use Mr. Saitama's exercise method for 3 years. And the reward is, ding. Congratulations to Master for completing the option, reward 5% Saitama template for inheriting Saitama's legacy. Ding. Hint. This template can be used 5 times a month for 5 minutes each time, and you can continue to get the template through God level selection. Advertisement. Ding. Hyuga Hazuki. The Hyuga family. Attributes. Yang, wind. Talent. Excellent. Template. 5% Saitama template, 5/5 times. Comments. He looks like an ordinary little boy, but he is actually a big devil who destroys the world. Looking at his stats panel, Hazuki knew it was all worth it, and that the Saitama template would be his super card. I really want to try the power of this template. It seems that one punch can destroy Konoha. Hazuki secretly said. According to the information given by the system, this template is the state of Saitama at the end of the second quarter. In this state, he is very terrifying, and Konoha village is really gone with one punch. By the way, it seems that Saitama is getting stronger every day, doesn't it mean that I can too? Hazuki thought suddenly. Ding. Master, the Saitama template has reached 100%, you will completely own this template, and you can become infinitely stronger. The system mechanical prompt said. It turned out to be 100%. It's a long way to go. Hazuki sighed, thinking about how to get more templates. Ding. Please select tips. God level selection can only choose one item, and this prompt will only be displayed once. Close black lens bracket. 1. Drop out of ninja school, reward 10% physical enhancement. 2. Compete with Namikaze Minato for the class leader position, reward 20% increase in mental strength. 3. Go to the Uzumaki clan to find Kushina, and reward. Upgrade your physique to a primary sage body to gain healing power similar to fragrant phosphorus. Elementary sage body. Healing power similar to fragrant phosphorus. Hazuki was stunned, then overjoyed. You must know that Shonglin's healing ability is very extraordinary, and the ability to heal any injury is simply a magical skill. If this ability is obtained, Hazuki will have one more whole card. Such a good thing Hazuki would never let go of, so he ignored the first and second items and chose the third item directly. Open black lens bracket. Ding. After the selection is complete, please complete the rescue mission as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the system beep, Hazuki looked up to the sky. Advertisement. To complete the mission, you must leave Konoha village, but Konoha actually has a protective barrier. In addition to the gate and the password to get in and out of the enchantment, it is not easy for ordinary people to secretly leave the village. But Hazuki, who has watched the anime, knows that there is a big hole in the barrier above the village, and that will be the way for Hazuki to leave. As long as I activate the Saitama template, it's a breeze to leave the village from above, and with the Saitama physique, it's almost a breeze to reach the Uzumaki clan from Konoha village. Hazuki was eager to try, but there was still some preparation to do, so he went back to the house and reappeared in his attire. After changing his clothes, he wore a cat face mask and a black combat uniform. He looked cool. Of course, the child's height somewhat spoiled the image. Almost there. Let the Saitama template bloom in this world today. Before he finished speaking, Hazuki suddenly activated the Saitama template. Saitama sensei's figure seemed to be standing behind him, and an invisible and terrifying force filled his body in the next second. Such a terrifying power. Hazuki gasped, looked at his right hand in disbelief, and clenched his fist. Bang! There was a loud bang in the air, and a pot of flowers that was closer burst directly. Damn it, my flower. Hazuki looked at the flowers he raised and felt distressed, but now he can't care about it, and completing the task is the focus. So Hazuki took a deep breath and slammed his right foot on the ground. Bang! The earth shook slightly, and Hazuki left like a rocket with an afterimage. No one saw the whole process, not even the ninja who monitored chakra's fluctuations. Because he is so fast. The Uzumaki clan was stationed there, and the screams of killing were so loud. As the Uzumaki clan possessing the sealing technique, they have long been the thorns in the eyes of major powers because they conceal the tailed beasts. Today, the Uzumaki family officially suffered a terrorist attack, and the entire family was close to annihilation under the attack of a powerful enemy. But some people escaped by luck and escaped into the forest of the land of fire. Advertisement. Woohoo! Kushina ran in the woods embarrassedly, ramming like a deer. Her dirty little face was full of pain and despair. They're chasing them. What should I do? Mom and Dad, you don't allow me to live up to your sacrifices and make me have to survive, but I really tried my best. I really tried my best. Woo woo woo. Kushina sobbed, tears blurring her eyes, leaving 2 marks on her dirty little face. Bang! It hurts. Kushina tripped, and a bloodstain was drawn on his snow lotus-like arm, and there was faint blood flowing out. But Kushina ignored the injury and hurriedly stood up and continued to run. Although she knew that the enemy would come after her soon and that she would be killed soon, she didn't want to live up to the sacrifices of her relatives, so she endured exhaustion and pain and continued to run away. After running for a few minutes, she suddenly stopped because a short figure appeared in front of her. It seemed to be a little boy with a cat-shaped mask and a black combat suit, leaning coolly beside the big tree. Seeing this figure, Kushina's little face turned pale, her big eyes filled with despair. She knew that her way was blocked, and she was absolutely dead. Don't be afraid, I have no malicious intentions. A cold voice came from Hazuki's mouth, and the voice was gentle and vaguely relieved. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the owner for completing the task of finding Kushina and rewarding the junior sage body. Close black lens bracket. A warm feeling like a hot spring flowed all over his body, and Hazuki clearly noticed that his body had changed a lot. The terrifying vitality has increased several times in a short period of time, and even the physique has become stronger. But that's not Hazuki's focus, he's now more focused on the junior sage body. There are beginners, there are intermediates, and maybe if you continue to improve your physique, you can reach the level of Senju Hashirama. Someone. Hazuki, who was thinking, suddenly looked back and said indifferently, since you're here, come out. Hee, I actually found us, this kid is a little interesting. Without chakra fluctuations, is it just an ordinary kid? To close black lens bracket rescue Kushina. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Brush. This kid has a bit of a doorway in perception, be careful. It's really a bit of a skill. The Jonin didn't find us before, but I didn't expect to be found by this kid, but so what? Kill it. Yes, there are so many of us, killing him is like killing a chicken. More than a dozen ninjas of unknown forces chatted like no one else, obviously not paying attention to Hazuki and Kushina. Kushina, who saw this scene, was already slumped on the ground. Her relatives and family were destroyed, and she was hunted down one after another. Under this series of blows, she was already in despair in the face of the inevitable death in front of her. Only, she always had doubts in her heart, wondering who this little boy with the cat face that suddenly appeared, was helping her, or had another purpose. Don't be afraid. No one can hurt you with me. Seeing Kushina slumped on the ground, Hazuki comforted softly, not being afraid of the appearance of those ninjas, but looking around calmly. Such a performance naturally aroused Kushina's doubts, but thinking of those powerful ninjas, Kushina laughed miserably and lowered his head silently. Hazuki didn't pay much attention to Kushina's performance. Because under his white eyes, he found that in addition to the ninja in front, there were also two ninjas hidden behind. Obviously, these ninjas have surrounded them, and they have no tyrannical strength, and basically have no hope of escape. But, will Hazuki be afraid? The answer is no. Ding. Please choose. 1. Beg for mercy from the enemy. Reward. Clone technique. 2. Use powerful strength to lead Kushina to escape. Reward. Spiritual strength increased by 50%. Advertisement. 3. Defeat all enemies and show your strength. Rewards. Increase your physique by 50% plus remove caged bird and repair damaged white eyes. Hearing the crisp sound, Hazuki looked at option 3 for the first time. As an ordinary member of the Hyuga clan, it was normal for Hazuki to be sent to caged bird. Correspondingly, there was also some damage to the white eye. This is very unhappy for Hazuki, who is striving for perfection. Now everything can be repaired and everything will be fine. Moreover, the physique has been increased by 50%, which is also a very good gain for Hazuki. Considering this, Hazuki chose the third option. Ignoring the system's prompt, Hazuki looked at Kushina next to him. Kushina closed her eyes and covered her ears. What? Kushina glanced blankly at Hazuki, then at the tyrannical enemies, obediently closing his eyes and covering his ears. Apparently, she was already anxiously awaiting death. The ninja on the other side laughed out loud when they saw what Hazuki was doing. This kid is still going to resist. Sure enough, a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers. With a mask, I thought I couldn't see that you were a brat. It's delusional to actually want to resist. I'll kill them, take the corpse back for autopsy, and study the constitution of the Uzumaki clan by the way. The ninjas chatted recklessly, and the words in the words made people feel chills in their hearts. Understanding. Hazuki glanced at the ninjas, his expression didn't change much, instead he bent his index finger. Then, the index finger flicked slightly against the air. Advertisement. Boom. The earth-shaking roar resounded through the sky, and the entire earth shook violently at this moment. The violent momentum and wind pressure raged in all directions. A large area of forest was turned to nothing under this blow, and the ninjas in front had turned into ashes. PFF'd. On the big tree behind, two hidden ninjas were planted, watching this scene in horror. My mother, this is impossible, how can you be so strong? This is absolutely impossible. This kind of power, even a tailed beast can't reach such power, you. Who are you? The devil, definitely the devil. The two ninjas said with numb scalps, looking at Hazuki with fear. But in the next second, their pupils shrunk to a point. Because of that little boy, he aimed his right hand at them. Don't want. Boom. The natural disaster-like scene reappeared, the large barren land took shape again, and the two hidden ninjas instantly turned into flying ashes. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. The reward will increase your stamina by 50% plus remove the caged bird and repair the damaged white eyes. A warm feeling like a hot spring flowed all over his body, and Hazuki clearly noticed that his body had changed a lot. And the damaged white eyes were repaired in a short period of time. His eyes were completely free from the influence of caged bird, and there was no trace of damage. What sound? The crisp voice came. Hazuki saw Kushina who was closing her eyes, and she was slightly amused when she looked at her cute look who wanted to open her eyes, but didn't dare to. You can open your eyes. Advertisement. Huh, oh. Kushina opened her eyes with doubt, looked blankly at the direction where the enemy was standing, thinking about why the enemy didn't kill her. But after seeing the scene in front of her clearly, her little girl had already stretched into an O shape, and her whole body was stunned in place as if it had been petrified. F.A. What happened? Kushina said dully. It's nothing, I wiped out the enemy. Hazuki said calmly. Destroyed. That's more than a dozen powerful ninjas. Wait, how come these two areas seem to be torn apart, with huge ravines appearing? Kushina said dumbly, her little head was full of paste. You only need to know that I saved you, and the rest are not allowed to ask, understand? Hazuki gave Kushina a head scratcher. It hurts. Kushina covered her little head with her hands and looked at Hazuki's cat face mask in confusion. For this mysterious little boy who suddenly appeared, she was full of curiosity, and it was terrifying to think about the means by which she could easily kill so many enemies. And Kushina found that this little boy didn't seem to have any ill will towards her. After all, the power that could cause a natural disaster like scene would not be possible for her, a little girl. So although Kushina is full of doubts, she is still very grateful to this little boy. Let's go. The movement here will attract the attention of the ninja. You must leave as soon as possible. Wait, your arm is scratched. Hazuki frowned slightly, looking at the scar on Kushina's arm and the dripping blood from time to time. The wound looked like a scratch, but Hazuki could easily tell that the wound was deep. I'm afraid the wound will worsen and must be treated. Hazuki frowned. Ding. Please choose. 1. Good life appease Kushina. Increase the relationship between the two parties. Reward. Physical fitness increased by 40%. 2. Bandage Kushina's wound to soothe her emotions. Reward. 70% physical enhancement. 3. Let Kushina bite your arm and treat her with sage body. Note. If you consume too much life force, it may leave permanent teeth marks. Reward. Physique is enhanced by 100%. Open black lens bracket. 3. Close black lens bracket Sekal Elite Jonin. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Hazuki looked at the 3 options and chose the third option without hesitation. 100% physical enhancement, that is a big improvement, and Hazuki is also curious about Sage Body, and wants to see how the treatment effect of Sage Body is. So Hazuki looked at Kushina. Kushina, come and bite my arm. Why? Huh, how did you know my name is Kushina? Kushina's beautiful eyes were puzzled. Why are there so many? Do you want to know? Hazuki flicked Kushina's head again and motioned her to do the same. No, I know. Kushina pouted. Her little head was full of doubts, but she felt that the little boy had no malicious intentions, so she cautiously leaned over to bite. Probably afraid of hurting Hazuki, Kushina's bite was very weak, like a little cat bitten. It's so warm, Kushina said suddenly. Her injuries are healing quickly, and even all the dark powers in her body have also recovered. Perhaps too comfortable, she narrowed her eyes. What's wrong with you? Hazuki looked at Kushina suspiciously, with a strange look in his eyes. I don't know why. After biting you, I feel warm, like a hot spring. Kushina said puzzledly, the whole person was like a dumb cat. My injury actually healed. What's going on? Could it be? Kushina stared at Hazuki's arm with wide eyes. Her beautiful eyes were full of inconceivable. She obviously did not use much power. But why the tooth marks were so deep? It was as if she had absorbed a lot of life force from the arm position just now, resulting in the tooth marks deepening. Big brother, what's going on? Kushina was puzzled. Yes, your injury can't be delayed. Next, we must get rid of the ninja's pursuit and send you to a safe place. Hazuki glanced around with his white eyes. It turned out to be so, thank you big brother. Kushina said gratefully. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item, you have gained 100% physical enhancement. The warm feeling like soaking in hot springs flowed all over the body again. Hazuki obviously felt that his body was stronger and stronger, and this kind of body also gave Hazuki more confidence. Advertisement. It's just that the life force is not small, and the teeth marks are much deeper than expected, and it will take several days to heal. Silently opening the data panel, Hazuki checked his status. Ding. Hazuki. Beginner Sage Body. Attributes. Yang, Wind. Talent. Excellent. Template. 5% Saitama template, 3/5 times. Comments. He looks like an ordinary little boy, but he is actually a big devil who destroys the world. Looking at his data panel, especially the Sage Body, Hazuki nodded in satisfaction, but there were only 3 Saitama templates left, which made Hazuki frown. Mainly, this girl went to the forest, and it took a while to find her. Fortunately, there was Bayan to help, otherwise it would be even more difficult to find. I used it once for traveling and fighting, but now there are only 3 left. It must be used sparingly. Hazuki secretly said. With only 5 minutes per use, Hazuki had to plan the number of uses. After all, it is not safe here, and there are still many ninjas looking for survivors of the Vortex clan. With the various magical abilities of ninjas, it is not difficult to find this place. If it appears in waves, it is very troublesome. In fact, if Hazuki opened the template, he could quickly return to Konoha, but Kushina couldn't bear such a high-speed movement. So Hazuki could only slow down and take her away. Big brother, can you take me to Konoha village? There are my people there. Kushina said cautiously. Ding. Please choose. 1. Go to Cloud Shinobi village, the land of thunder, and reward, thunder attribute. 2. Go to Kurigakure, the land of water, and reward, water attribute. 3. Go to Konoha village, the land of fire, and reward, fire attribute plus double mental power. Advertisement. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Looking at the god-level choice that suddenly appeared, Xianyu quickly ruled out the first and second items, because these two countries can't wait to kill the Uzumaki clan, so they must not be sent. So now the only option is Konoha village, which was also Kushina's idea, so Hazuki chose the third option. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for choosing the third option. Go to Konoha village, the country of fire, and reward, fire attribute plus double the spiritual power. Close black lens bracket. As the sound of the system fell, Hazuki's brain also felt a warm feeling, very comfortable and intoxicating. Big brother, can you take me to Konoha village? Kushina's pitiful voice interrupted Hazuki's intoxication and brought him back to reality. Okay, but your speed is too slow, let me carry you. Hazuki said. Hold. Kushina was stunned, her big eyes filled with timidity. Yes, there is no time, there are ninjas here. Hazuki's eyes flashed, he hugged Kushina like a princess, and quickly left in her sluggishness. All that was left was a barren land like a natural disaster. Minutes after Hazuki left, where they were before, hundreds of ninjas appeared. These ninjas were attracted by the terrifying roar. And when they came to the scene, they were all stunned. The two barren places one after the other, the scene like a natural disaster, completely frightened everyone. My god, what's the situation? Could there be a tailed beast here? Impossible. The tailed beast is an important battle force in each village, and it is impossible to dispatch it at will. Then why is this? I can't think of anything other than a tailed beast that can cause such a shattering scene, and it's not even possible for a cage-level powerhouse. Advertisement. The ninjas spoke with numb scalps, looking at the scene in front of them in horror. Elder, I smelled two residual scents. 2 people appeared here just now, and now they are going to the northwest. 2 scents. After thinking for 2 seconds, the elder said, Team 1, Team 2, you stay and continue to investigate, and the rest follow me. Yes. Whoosh search. The ninjas left quickly, leaving only 10 people to continue to explore the scene. After 5 minutes of exploration, Teams 1 and 2 found nothing but 2 odors. It's strange that there is not much residual information. It's unimaginable that only this little bit of information can be erased. You said, if the elders went after those 2 figures, would something go wrong? Impossible, the elder is an elite Jonin. Even if he loses, he can escape. Besides, there are nearly 100 ninjas chasing after him. Yes, with such strength, even if you encounter a tailed beast, you are not afraid. The ninjas of Teams 1 and 2 were talking to each other and preparing to go to the northwest, following in the footsteps of the elders. Boom. The terrifying roar resounded in the sky, and the boundless gulf swept from the northwest. The terrifying wind pressure turned the large forest into a barren land. Countless creatures and animals turned into fly ash under this terrifying blow. As for the ninja teams 1 and 2 in question, 8 people disappeared at this moment, and only 2 ninjas who were far away survived. The 2 of them stared at the terrifying scene stupidly, looking at the dusty northwest direction. What the hell? What happened? No, I don't know, but I know that Team 1 and Team 2 are finished, and the elders and the others are definitely finished. Impossible, impossible, the elder is elite Jonin. 4. Study hard. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The devil, it must be the devil, hurry up, let's go back to the village and report to Lord Rakage. Yes, run quickly, it's not that we are timid, but the enemy is too scary. The 2 surviving ninjas ran into the distance in horror, vowing never to pursue those two scents again. And these two smells have been deeply remembered in their hearts, and they have become nightmares that they will never forget in their entire lives. The other side. In the woods of the Land of Fire. Hazuki embraced Kushina, looked indifferently at the direction the enemy was dissipating, and gradually lowered his raised right hand while checking the newly completed mission. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the second item. Reward. Thunder attribute plus stamina enhancement by 20%. Open black lens bracket ding. Do you want to open the data panel? Close black lens bracket. Certainly. Ding. Hyuga Hazuki. Beginner Sage Body. Attributes. Yang, Wind, Fire, Thunder. Talent. Excellent. Template. 5% Saitama template, 2/5 times. Comments. He looks like an ordinary little boy, but he is actually a big devil who destroys the world. Advertisement. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Looking at his data panel, Hazuki frowned secretly. Saitama's template only has 2 left, which reduces his hand by another point. Without a whole card in hand, Hazuki always felt uneasy. I have to get to Konoha as soon as possible. I can't use my whole cards indiscriminately. Fortunately, the god level choice has brought me a lot of gains. Hazuki secretly said. During the trip just now, Hazuki learned that as long as he interacts with the plot characters more, it is easy to trigger the god level selection and get rewards. Looking at the Hokage ninja world, Konoha village is the place with the most characters, which is good news for Hazuki. As long as he returns to Konoha, he can trigger the god level selection while waiting for the template to recover the number of uses. Big brother, can I open my eyes? Kushina's beautiful voice came from the side, and the voice was as sweet as a lark. It can be opened. Hazuki nodded, and at the same time, in the form of a princess hug, led Kushina towards Konoha village. As for Kushina, she tilted her little head and looked at the catastrophic barren land behind her, her big eyes filled with horror. The last time she saw the wasteland, she suspected that it was not made by the big brother, but now she is sure that it was made by the big brother. The ability to cause natural disasters is a godlike power for Kushina. Curious, Kushina tilted her head to look at the big brother. At the dangerous moment when he was being hunted down, the big brother appeared like a god to save her from the fire and water. For Kushina, who lost her family, and lost everything, it was like the dawn of despair, making her fascinated and grateful. So even if this big brother is very strong and domineering, Kushina would rather believe and follow, just because she has lost everything, and this big brother has become her only support. Quietly staring at the big brother's mask, Kushina really wanted to see what kind of face was behind the mask, but unfortunately she didn't dare, she was afraid of losing her only support. Advertisement. So she just watched this big brother silently, even though she was full of doubts, she didn't dare to ask, she just looked at it silently. When he looked at the small circle of teeth marks on the big brother's arm, Kushina's face flushed slightly, and he lowered his head in embarrassment. In this way, as time passed, Kushina hid in Hazuki's arms in silence, gradually his eyelids became heavier, and finally fell into a deep sleep in exhaustion. She was too tired. After chasing and killing for so long, it was not easy for a weak girl to survive until now. At this moment, she had a safe haven, and exhaustion naturally came to her heart, so she fell asleep so foolishly. In the early morning of the next day, the sun shines on the earth, bringing vitality to all things. Konoha Village, Medical Department. Have you heard? It was really scary last night. Yeah, I was shocked too, it was horrible. It's said to be because of the girl in the ward. Yes, her name is Uzumaki Kushina. It's her. Mito-sama's clan, be careful not to provoke her. In a daze, Kushina opened his eyes and saw the white roof and the clean and tidy ward, faintly smelling of disinfectant. In her ears, whispers kept coming from outside the door. Why am I here? Didn't I get saved by Big Brother? What about Big Brother? Kushina's expression changed slightly, and she hurriedly looked around. Kushina had a bad premonition when he saw the large characters, Konoha Medical Department, outside the window. Big Brother, are you gone? Kushina thought of this and hurriedly got off the bed and walked out of the ward. Squeak. The door opened, and Kushina saw 3 female ninjas dressed as nurses talking, and the topic of discussion happened to be related to her. Ah, Kushina, you're awake. It's great. Hokage-sama has ordered you to be a member of Konoha from now on, and Mito-sama has invited you to be a guest. Have you seen my big brother? Kushina hurriedly asked. Big brother. Advertisement. When the three nurses heard this, their expressions changed slightly, and they looked a little scared. What happened to you guys? Kushina was puzzled and didn't understand why these nurses were looking like this, it was so strange. Did something happen to the big brother? Kushina hurriedly asked. No, how could something go wrong with that kind of strength? You can ask Mito-sama about the specific situation, and she will explain it to you. The three nurses hurriedly explained, and their expressions became pale. Such a scene made Kushina even more puzzled, but she knew that something big must have happened after she fell asleep. But the nurses didn't say anything, so she could only go and ask Mito-sama to see if she could get an answer. So she didn't stop at the hospital, but hurriedly headed towards Mito-sama's residence under the guidance of the nurse. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The Hyuga family resides at number 7. After Hazuki finished washing at home, he headed towards the ninja school facing the rising sun. He has been studying at the ninja school for a while. Although he has not learned to refine chakra so far, he has learned the basics of ninjas very solidly. It's just that the ideological and moral lessons of the will of fire are very disgusting. It looks like it's time to teach how to refine chakra in the past 2 days. I'm just learning to learn. Although I have an absolute trump card, I also need the strength that I should have, such as physique. Hazuki clenched his fists, clearly aware that his physique was much stronger. After several consecutive god-level selections, his physique has improved a lot, which makes him have great confidence in refining chakra, especially on the data panel, which shows the excellent talent and sage body. This is enough to show that he has great potential in ninja. I have 2 goals in the future. One is to trigger the god-level selection and get more Saitama templates, and the other is to improve my strength. After all, this is the ninja world. For this dangerous ninja world, Hazuki must have absolute strength, learn ninjutsu as much as possible, and have tyrannical strength. As for the Saitama template, it's best to use it as a whole card. Advertisement. 5 close black lens bracket irritated Minato. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After figuring this out, Hazuki headed towards the ninja school with confidence. I met many students along the way, such as Hyuga Hazashi, Hyuga Hiyashi, Namikaze Minato, Nawaki, Inoshika Cho and many more. These familiar figures are still students of the ninja school, and some are even in the same class as Hazuki. For example, Namikaze Minato, who happens to be in the same class as Hazuki, and the two are very popular in the class. The two are very outstanding in terms of appearance, and their handsome faces have attracted many little girls. In addition, the two have strong learning ability, so they are among the best in the class, and the corresponding two also have the meaning of competition. For example, Namikaze Minato has a unique advantage in combat, and often learns a lot of abilities by inferring others. Hazuki, on the other hand, has a cold and mature temperament and is very handsome. All kinds of opinions beyond his current age can often arouse people's surprise, even Namikaze Minato is ashamed. That's why Namikaze Minato always wants to beat Hazuki and become the best in the class. As for Hazuki, after he had the Saitama template, he played down the idea of competing with Namikaze Minato, because as long as he wanted to, he could easily kill Namikaze Minato, as easy as crushing an ant. This kind of strength has changed Hazuki's mentality, and it has a faint meaning of looking down. This is the mentality of the strong. Hazuki, you are very early today, don't you usually go to school after running 10 kilometers? Did you give up? Namikaze Minato saw Hazuki at the school gate and said hello, but it sounded a little depressing. What is giving up? That is to complete the system task and obtain the legacy of Saitama teacher. There is no need to continue, okay. Of course, Hazuki was too lazy to explain these words. After all, the current Namikaze Minato was nothing like the future 4th Hokage. At this moment, he is like Asuma when he was a child. He looks very quiet, but he is very competitive. Even in the class, the two were rivals, and they were both fighting for the top spot in the class, so Hazuki didn't bother to pay attention. Advertisement. Ding. Please choose 1. Chat with Namikaze Minato and become friends. Reward. Introduction to kunai throwing. 2. Ignore Namikaze Minato's words and go straight to school. Reward. Kunai throwing proficiency. 3. Despise Namikaze Minato before going to school. Reward. Kunai throwing grandmaster. Looking at the three options, Hazuki chose the third option without hesitation and turned to Namikaze Minato. Stay away from me, you little brat. When you see you, you get angry. You look like a sissy. Don't look in the mirror when you go out. Hazuki spoke loudly and went straight to school without giving Namikaze Minato time to react. All that was left was Namikaze Minato, dumbfounded. Quite a while, Namikaze Minato, who had reacted, looked around and found that the passers-by were looking at him with strange eyes, and Namikaze Minato's face suddenly changed. Damn, where am I, sissy? I'm obviously very sunny and handsome. Namikaze Minato retorted loudly, trying to correct his image, but some people still looked at him strangely. Even a sissy-looking adult gave him a wink. Vomit. Namikaze Minato retched and hurried to the school. Hyuga Hazuki, stop for me, I'm not a sissy, please quickly apologize to me. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item, and reward the kunai throwing grandmaster. Close black lens bracket. Hazuki's lips curled into a smile as he listened to the beep in his head, and the knowledge in his head of a lot of kunai throws. Hurrying to the classroom, Hazuki quickly locked onto the only classmate in the class, who was also a cute girl with a cute face. This person is none other than Uchiha Makoto, who has a warm personality and is also Hazuki's tablemate. Advertisement. Good morning Makoto, thank you for helping me clean the table again. Hazuki sat down beside Makoto. You're welcome, Hazuki is pretty early today, too. Uchiha Makoto asked curiously, her little face flushed red, she was really pretty. Well, planning to change the way of practice, are you still practicing kunai throwing? Hazuki asked Uchiha Makoto. Yes, it's just that the kunai throwing is too difficult. I can't master the force technique, and I always make mistakes. Uchiha Makoto said embarrassedly. Strength technique. It's simple, give me your hand. Hazuki, who had already reached the grandmaster's throw with kunai, directly pulled up Uchiha Makoto's small hand, then grabbed a kunai, aimed it at the wall of the podium, and threw it violently. Whoosh! There was a sound of breaking the air, followed by a chop, and it was obvious that the kunai was nailed to the wall of the podium. Gosh, so fast kunai, how did you do it, Hazuki? Too fast. Uchiha Makoto opened his eyes in surprise, his big eyes full of wonder. She often throws kunai, and has a clear understanding of the throwing speed of kunai, and has even seen many senior students throwing kunai. But even the senior students couldn't throw as fast, so fast as Hazuki. Hyuga Hazuki, has your kunai throwing speed reached the level of a ninja? Uchiha Makoto asked curiously. That's it. Hazuki nodded and didn't say much, because even he was a little surprised. Normally, kunai's throwing reaches the grandmaster, but it can't reach such a fast speed. Now that Hazuki kunai can throw so fast, it is obviously a bonus to physique. I have been strengthened several times in a row, and my physique should have reached the level of a ninja. It seems that it is time to find a time to test it. Hazuki secretly said. While Hazuki was thinking, some students came in one after another, and Uchiha Makoto got back his kunai early. Bang! The classroom door was pushed open, and a figure rushed in. Advertisement. Hyuga Hazuki, who are you calling a sissy? There must be an explanation for me. Annoyed voices echoed in the classroom, and soon Namikaze Minato's figure appeared in front of Hazuki. Ding. Please choose. 1. Apologize to Namikaze Minato and become friends. Reward. Camouflage. 2. Continue to ignore Namikaze Minato. Reward. Escape artist. 3. Despise Namikaze Minato again. Bonus. Clone technique plus a small amount of chakra. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Looking at the god-level choice that appeared again, Hazuki's heart blossomed with joy. This Namikaze Minato deserves to be an important plot character. In such a short period of time, the option has been triggered twice. This is really a lucky boy. Such a good man, Hazuki is reluctant to hit him, but the task should be done. So Hazuki deliberately said with disdain, it's really a sissy, and Rory is so annoying. What? Rory? Gossip. Damn it. Namikaze Minato was about to explode with anger, but he continued to speak, and he really seemed like he was rambling. Therefore, depressed Namikaze Minato glared at Hazuki and returned to his seat. Sooner or later I will prove everything. I am not a sissy. I will beat you to become the best genius. The young Namikaze Minato vowed calmly. I'm waiting for your proof. Hazuki replied, and continued to chat with Uchiha Makoto. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. Reward clone technique plus a small amount of chakra. A lot of knowledge of clone technique and chakra poured into his mind. Hazuki absorbed and mastered it quickly. Open black lens bracket 6 close black lens bracket chakra. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Jingle bell. The class bell rang, and the teacher, Yuzi, stepped into the class with a solemn look. Dear classmates, today I will teach you how to refine chakra. Whoever succeeds in refining chakra first will be rewarded. Wow, it's great to finally learn to refine chakra. Yes, there are rewards. I don't know what rewards. I'm looking forward to it. The reward is mine. I must be the first to extract chakra. The students were overjoyed to hear the teacher's words, and some even started dancing. These students, Joninja School, aim to become ninjas. But after studying for so long, in addition to learning theoretical knowledge every day, it is the ideological and moral class of the Will of Fire, and the students have long been tired of listening. Now that I can learn to refine chakra, it is definitely an unexpected surprise. So the students in the class were very happy, even Namikaze Minato was pleasantly surprised. Sudden, Namikaze Minato thought of something and turned to look at Hazuki. Hazuki, do you dare to make a bet with me to see who succeeds in extracting chakra first? Huh, who will extract chakra first? Hazuki felt the chakra in his body, looked at Namikaze Minato strangely and said, yes, but I have a condition. What conditions? You say. Namikaze Minato is very confident. Yesterday, he started to learn to refine chakra, and he was taught by Mr. Jiraiya himself. He even said that he is a genius. Although it has not been successfully refined so far, he is confident that it will be successfully refined within 3 days. Advertisement. That's why he dared to bet with Hazuki. So he stared confidently at Hazuki, waiting for his terms. It's very simple. If I win, you will clean the classroom for me in the future. Hazuki said lightly. He was too lazy to do the work of cleaning the classroom. Now that he has taken advantage of it, he naturally can't let it go. Yes, but to be fair, if you lose, you have to clean the classroom for me. Namikaze Minato objected. It's a word. The two looked at the podium with smiles, their expressions full of confidence, and such confidence also attracted the attention of their classmates. Like Uchiha Makoto, who looked at Hazuki with worried eyes. Hazuki, I heard that Jiraiya-sama met with Namikaze Minato yesterday. I'm afraid you will lose. Lord Jiraiya. Hazuki raised his eyebrows, thinking that Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato had been in contact very early, but he didn't care. Because his eyes had already detected that Namikaze Minato had not succeeded in refining chakra, Namikaze Minato lost the competition after a while. Hazuki, aren't you worried? I remember you hated cleaning the classroom the most. Uchiha Makoto asked strangely. Don't worry, when have I ever suffered a loss? By the way, when you said to make glutinous rice dumplings for me last time, when will you make them for me? Hazuki didn't answer, but changed the subject. Tomorrow. The materials have been bought. Wait, don't change the subject, chakra. Okay, you want to have confidence in me, you know. Hazuki didn't bother to listen to the little girl's nagging, and directly rubbed Makoto's little head with his hands, motioning her to be quiet. Hyuga Hazuki you. Uchiha Makoto was stunned for 2 seconds, not knowing what to say, and finally lowered his head in embarrassment. The girls in this world are very precocious and have a very delicate mind. Such an intimate gesture naturally makes Uchiha Makoto very shy. Advertisement. But instead of blaming Hazuki, she shyly stopped talking. Okay everyone. Be quiet, everyone. Next, I will teach you how to refine chakra. Listen carefully. On the podium, Teacher Yazi interrupted everyone's discussion and explained the refining steps of chakra slowly. She was very detailed, and she also spoke very straightforwardly about the precautions of chakra, and everyone who listened to it gradually became obsessed with it. A few minutes later, Teacher Yazzie finally finished teaching the chakra refining technique, and then looked out the window solemnly, waiting silently for the students to refine chakra. Teacher Yako's performance made Hazuki and Namikaze Minato puzzled, but it's hard to ask questions in class now, so they can only temporarily hide in their hearts. Subsequently, Namikaze Minato started refining chakra, trying to refine chakra successfully today, and then surpass Hazuki in front of everyone to become the strongest genius in this class. Teacher Yazzie, you said that the first one who successfully refined will be rewarded. What is the reward? Hazuki's indifferent words rang out in the class, attracting the attention of many people. People all looked at Teacher Yazzie, hoping that the teacher would announce the reward. The reward is a set of ninja tools, shuriken, kunai, ninja kit, short sword, etc. Teacher Yazzie seemed absent-minded, but she explained the reward quickly, and finally shook her head. It's difficult for you to get rewards in a short time. Last year, the class 1 taught took a month to successfully extract chakra, so you should work hard. It took a month to successfully refine. So long. It seems to be the case. It took my father 2 months to extract chakra, which is very difficult. It seems that I have to work harder and try to refine it successfully within a month. The students talked a lot, looking forward to the reward for the first place. Okay. And Jing, do you know? Hurry up and try to refine it. Let me tell you, the refining of chakra is very difficult. Those who successfully refine it in 1 month are at the genius level. Some people have not succeeded in a year, so. Teacher Yako just said the word, so, when she was stunned, and then looked at Hyuga Hazuki in horror. Advertisement. Because she noticed that chakra's fluctuations suddenly appeared in Hyuga Hazuki. Master, what's wrong with you? When everyone saw Teacher Yazzie's expression, they were puzzled and didn't understand what happened to her. Hazuki, did you succeed in refining chakra? Teacher Yazzie asked in disbelief. What? Hazuki succeeded in refining? Impossible. Namikaze Minato said with wide eyes. He just made a bet with Hyuga Hazuki on the front foot, and Hyuga Hazuki on the back foot extracted chakra, which is too shocking. The surrounding students were also in disbelief and looked at Hyuga Hazuki with suspicion. Yes, teacher, I succeeded in refining. Hazuki said indifferently, deliberately mobilizing chakra, making chakra's fluctuations more intense. It turned out to be really successful. How is this possible? A student with strong perception looked at Hyuga Hazuki in disbelief, and the whole figure was like a stone statue, stunned in place. With such words, all the shocked students widened their eyes and looked at Hyuga Hazuki in astonishment. It was refined just after the explanation. This is too awesome. Damn, people are more popular than dead people. This Hyuga Hazuki is a monster. Damn it, I said I'll extract it first, but it's over before it even starts. I'm mad at me. The students spoke with envy and hatred, and looked at Hazuki with monster eyes. As for Namikaze Minato, he was completely dumbfounded, and his head didn't react for a long time. The other side, Kushina and the old Vortex Mito were walking on the road, heading for the Konoha gate. Mother Mito, are you telling the truth? Big brother really did so much for me? Kushina asked expectantly. Of course, you'll know when you come with me, and what follows will definitely surprise you. Advertisement. Open black lens bracket 7 close black lens bracket mysterious man. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. With anticipation, Kushina and Mito walked step by step, but the more people they went, the more people they saw, and the more often they saw ninjas. These ninjas looked very solemn, and people often whispered. I really didn't expect that the man actually blasted Konoha's enchantment with 1 punch, and also broke the Konoha gate. Yeah, these are nothing. You look at the disaster-like scene outside the village, that's the real horror. The scene outside the village is really shocking, and I feel shudder just thinking about it now. There were frequent discussions, and when Kushina heard the talk, she recalled the Badlands she had seen before. Could it be that the big brother turned Kimura into a barren land? Kushina thought to himself, his little hands clenched. With doubt and anticipation, Kushina came to the door of Konoha accompanied by Granny Mito. The first thing that caught my eye was the broken Konoha gate, as well as many powerhouses including Hokage. At this moment, these people are busy at the entrance of the village. In addition to repairing the gate and barrier, they are looking out of the village like fools. This scene aroused Kushina's curiosity. She tilted her little head and looked outside the village, her big eyes instantly widened. Because outside the village, among the countless grass-lined trees, there is an endless gulf that traverses the endless forest of fire from the mouth of Konoha village. That terrifying barren land, even if Kushina saw it for the third time, she was still shocked into a little dumb cat. Look, Kushina, this is what your big brother caused. Advertisement. Mito pointed to the gate and barrier, then to the outside of the village, falling silent. In the face of this natural disaster like barren land, this catastrophe-like gap, even Mito didn't know what to say. Mother-in-law Mito, why did the big brother do this? The big brother is definitely not someone who would destroy at will. Kushina reacted from the shock and looked at Mito's mother-in-law with big eyes. Although the time he spent with the big brother was very short, Kushina agreed with the big brother in his heart. Because the ninja who guarded the Konoha gate last night didn't let your big brother enter the village, he blasted the barrier with one punch and even shattered the gate. Mito took a deep breath. To be honest, Mito was shocked when she heard this, and even the 9 tails inside her body was shaken. The original loose seal, the increasingly restless 9 tails, became quiet. Even now, when Mito looked at the barren land outside the village, the 9 tails in his body were as obedient as a cat, and he didn't break free from the seal at all. Such an unexpected joy was something Mito did not expect. Big brother is really good. He has sacrificed so much for me, but where did he go? Did he leave me behind? Will he come back? Kushina muttered. Her mood was very low and her eyes were faintly red. I don't know, but your big brother left a harsh word when he left. He said that whoever dares to bully you, the barren land is the consequence. Granny Mito explained calmly, but there was still some hair in her heart. How strong is a person who is even afraid of tailed beasts? Thinking of the loud bang that suddenly came during the rest last night, the roar that shook the entire Konoha. Mito thought there was an enemy invasion at the time, but he didn't expect it to be because of Kushina. Advertisement. This result not only shocked her Vortex Mito, but also shocked the entire Konoha executives. Even the whole Konoha village has a lot of atmosphere because of this incident. That's why Mito personally took Kushina with him. Big brother paid for me, but why did you leave? Why don't you let me see your face? Kushina doesn't want you to leave. Kushina looked out of the village in disappointment, looking at the familiar barren land, her little face was full of sadness. Thinking of everything about the big brother, thinking of the small tooth marks left on the big brother's arm, her little face turned slightly red, but she was more reluctant. Big brother, I will definitely find you, definitely. Beside, Mito frowned slightly when he saw Kushina's state. Even Kushina didn't know who the big brother was, which further explained the mystery of that person. Forget it. Konoha can't afford to offend someone like that, so let's find a way to increase the bond between Kushina and Konoha. Mito decided secretly, and turned to speak again. Kushina, you can stay in Konoha in the future, and I will send you to the ninja school in the afternoon to meet more friends. Jonin school. Well, when I have the strength, I will definitely find a big brother in the future. Kushina clenched her small fist and said with high fighting spirit. Great. Good luck. While Vortex Mito was talking to Kushina, Danzo walked solemnly from outside the village, accompanied by 2 ninjas. You must not provoke that mysterious person. If you encounter each other, evacuate as soon as possible. Remember to remember. Danzo said in shock. The terrifying scene outside the village scared him so much that he even let go of his crutches. In order not to provoke the mysterious man, he gave his 2 subordinates a death order not to provoke each other. It's Lord Danzo. We must keep in mind that we will never provoke this person. X2. Advertisement. That's good. Danzo nodded in satisfaction, then saw the Whirlpool Mito and Kushina. Who is the girl with Mito? I didn't expect someone to approach Jinchuriki to investigate the girl. If it gets in our way, just kill it. Danzo squinted at Kushina, and ordered in a low voice, looking like an indifferent villain. But Lord Danzo, she is. The 2 subordinates stopped talking. What is she? Could it be from Hiruzen's side? HMPH, what about Sarutobi Hiruzen's? If it prevents me from killing it, you can just investigate, don't worry. Danzo stomped the ground with his cane, with a tyrannical aura all over his body. The cold aura and domineering made his two subordinates secretly startled. But when they thought of the girl's identity, they hesitated again. Lord Danzo, she can't be provoked, she is Kushina. A subordinate said hurriedly. Kushina. A very familiar name. No matter who she is, if it gets in the way of my plan, I will kill it. I have nothing to worry about. I have never been afraid of anyone here in Konoha. Danzo said coldly. His eyes were fascinated, the invisible momentum became stronger and more extraordinary. Lord Danzo, Kushina was sent by that mysterious person. The two subordinates finally spoke their words. Isn't it from the mysterious man? What's so great? What? It was sent by the mysterious man. She is the girl, my god. Danzo's face was pale, and even his crutches almost fell to the ground, and the original knight disappeared in an instant. Damn idiots, you didn't say it earlier, you want to kill me. Danzo was so angry that he kicked two of his subordinates, cursing and wiping cold sweat in fear. I almost lost my life, scared me to death, the gap is so big, I don't want to die meaninglessly. 8 Close black lens bracket find someone. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Not to mention Danzo was frightened into a dog, and his eyes came to the ninja school. At this moment, Hazuki received a set of ninja equipment from Mr. Yako in the envy of his classmates. It is well equipped and complete: shuriken, kunai, ninja kit, short sword, bingbao, and more. For Hazuki, who has no money, this solves the logistical problem very well, which makes him very satisfied. Certainly. It's cool not to have to clean the classroom in the future. Thinking of cleaning the classroom, Hazuki turned to look at Namikaze Minato next to him. Namikaze Minato, I'll leave the burden of cleaning the classroom to you. Hazuki patted Namikaze Minato on the shoulder with a serious attitude. Hearing this, Namikaze Minato was about to cry. He felt that today was a bad day. Today, not only was Hyuga Hazuki called a sissy, but he even lost the bet. The key was originally two of the strongest in the class, but now he seems to be a little weaker than Hazuki, which makes the arrogant Namikaze Minato very depressed. Hyuga Hazuki, I won't give up, just wait, I will definitely beat you to become the best genius in the class. Namikaze Minato said aloud, and secretly decided in his heart that he would learn ninjutsu with Jiraiya when he went back. I'm waiting for your challenge. Hazuki did not refuse, but gave Namikaze Minato a defiant look. This Namikaze Minato is an important plot character, and interaction can better trigger god-level choices, and Hazuki will never pass up such a good opportunity. The tit-for-tat between the two naturally attracted the attention of the class, and some people were not afraid to watch the fun, such as Nawaki. I said that the two of you might as well have a fight. It's enough to see who is more powerful. Besides, it is not necessarily strong to extract chakra. You must have matching ninjutsu and taijutsu. Advertisement. Nawaki said loudly, with a gesture of not taking it too seriously. As Tsunade's younger brother, he really has this qualification. After all, he is the prince, just as naughty as Konohamaru when he was a child. Ding. Please choose. 1. Accept Nawaki's proposal and fight Namikaze Minato. Reward: tread water. 2. Reject Nawaki's proposal and act according to the original plan. Reward: climbing trees. 3. To provoke and despise Nawaki, establish his own thorny style. Reward: treading water plus climbing trees. Looking at the god-level choice that suddenly appeared, a smile appeared on Hazuki's lips. It's really good luck to trigger the god-level selection so quickly. With anticipation, Hazuki swept through the 3 options and finally set his sights on the third. Although this third item is a bit risky, it is easy to be regarded as a thorn, but Hazuki has a whole card and is not worried. With absolute trump cards in hand, Hazuki is really not afraid of things. The most important thing is tomorrow. No. 1. By then, the template will be restored to 5 times, and he can wave again. With a hint of banter, Hazuki chose the third option without hesitation. Open black lens bracket ding. After the selection is complete, please complete the selection as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Ignoring the system's prompts, Hazuki turned to look at the young Nawaki. Shut up your big cake face, a jerk like you, I can kick you off with one kick, and let you both hands and feet, and I can drown you with a sip of saliva. Hazuki gave Nawaki a deliberately contemptuous look after speaking. Then arrogantly snorted. Damn, who do you say is a big cake face? Who do you say is a waste? Nawaki exploded with anger, and stood up with a slap, his fists clenched tightly. Of course I'm talking about you. I didn't even extract chakra. Let's not say who you're talking about. Hazuki gave Nawaki a disdainful look again, and the gesture was as bad as it was bad. Advertisement. Damn, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Nawaki was mad, standing there and yelling, but was pulled by the classmates next to him. Nawaki, don't be impulsive. Don't be impulsive. You can't beat him. Don't forget that he will gentle fist. Let's take a long-term plan, and a long-term plan. Several classmates who had a good relationship with Nawaki rushed to hold him, afraid that Nawaki would suffer. Okay. You wait for me, I'm not finished with you. Nawaki's eyes were red with anger, but thinking of Hazuki's strength, he finally didn't dare to do it. But he thought of a way, that is to find his sister Tsunade to learn powerful ninjutsu, and then come back to challenge Hyuga Hazuki to wash away today's shame. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third task, rewarded for treading water plus climbing trees. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the sound in his head and feeling the warm current around his body, Hazuki happily hummed a song. I'm so happy today, happy, happy. Hazuki, who was singing, didn't notice that Namikaze Minato and Nawaki gnashed their teeth in anger when they heard the song, and even their faces turned blue. Damn, Hyuga Hazuki's ability to anger people is so strong. It really pisses me off. Nawaki's anger blew into the air. Nawaki, don't you have a good relationship with Yamanaka Kaiichi from the next class? Why don't you ask him to fight Hyuga Hazuki's arrogance? The friend next to him suggested. No, Yamanaka Kaiichi hasn't learned the heart-turning technique. He is too weak to beat Hyuga Hazuki. Nawaki shook his head and refused. Yamanaka Kaiichi's kunai throwing has already started, he can hit the target every time, and he can compete with Xianyu in the kunai throwing. Yeah, although Yamanaka Kaiichi can't hit the bullseye, it's great to just hit the target, and none of us can do that. When Nawaki heard the suggestions of the two friends, he also found it very funny. He was silent for 2 seconds and said, Okay, I'll go to Yamanaka Kaiichi after class, this time I must fight Hyuga Hazuki's arrogance again. He's too arrogant, he dares to say that I have a big face, and I'm mad. Quote. Nawaki modeled his own face, faintly feeling that it was indeed a big cake face. Advertisement. Damn pie face. ... Time passed bit by bit, and soon the bell rang. Nawaki saw Mr. Yako leave in a hurry, he rushed out immediately and ran to the next class. Why does this guy look like a monkey? Hazuki glanced at Nawaki with a puzzled look, but instead of thinking about it, he looked at Uchiha Makoto next to him. Although this girl is small now, her delicate appearance is really a bit of a beauty. Every time Hazuki sees her, she can't help but tease. Makoto, did you bring lunch? Hazuki said with a smile. He remembered very clearly that Makoto often didn't come home at noon, but instead brought meals to eat at school. Bring it. Is Hyuga Hazuki having dinner at school today? Makoto said, blinking his big black eyes. No, I didn't bring any food, why don't we have one? Hazuki said suddenly. But. Makoto was a little hesitant. She brought so little food that she could barely eat enough herself, so she was a little hesitant. But thinking that Hazuki, like her, is an ordinary member of his own family, he must not be well off in life. So she nodded with a kind heart and said, yes, let's eat together later. Okay. Makoto is such a kind girl, whoever marries you will be happy. Hazuki stared at Makoto as he spoke, sighing inwardly about her tragic future. Ding. Please choose. Open black lens bracket 9 close black lens bracket challenge. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Ding. Please choose. 1. Along with the development of the plot, do not interfere with the fate line of Uchiha Makoto. Reward. Forbidden technique the corpse is sealed. 2. Prevent Uchiha Makoto from marrying Uchiha Fugaku and avoid her future death. Reward. S-rank ninjutsu lightning style Kilin. 3. Catch Uchiha Makoto and make her willing to be your girlfriend. Reward. Mystery pack. Asterisk. What? Hazuki was slightly taken aback at the sudden appearance of the god-level choice, because the mysterious gift package of the third item had never appeared before. What used to be what was before, this is the first time such an option has appeared. With doubts, Hazuki secretly said, "System, what's in the mysterious gift package?" Ding. Master has completed the third choice, and you will know. Kaido of the system machine. Can't tell. Are rewards valuable? Sharingan, Rinnegan, Tenseigan, or maybe a Saitama template? Hazuki asked tentatively, and vaguely felt that the Saitama template was very likely. Because to complete the third option, it will take a long time and be troublesome. Although the girl Uchiha Makoto is still young, she has already caught the attention of Uchiha Fugaku. Although it may be because of her age, Uchiha Fugaku has not said anything. But maybe Uchiha has sharpened his knife and is ready to confess to Uchiha Makoto as the son of the patriarch, which is very troublesome. And Hazuki is the Hyuga clan, Makoto is the Uchiha clan, and the two clans absolutely do not allow them to be together. Of course, Hazuki can solve these problems. For example, a domineering punch destroys the two families. Of course, Hazuki will not do such an extreme approach unless it is a last resort. Advertisement. There are many plot characters in these two families. If it really destroys the two families, the plot collapses and affects the choice of gods, then Hazuki will lose more than the gain. And to make Makoto willing to be his girlfriend, that's not too difficult. His character is relatively strong, such a character seems very domineering to girls and is easy to be rejected, so Hazuki is not completely sure. Try it, be domineering. If you fail, take her away and cultivate it from a young age. I still don't believe that the pursuit will fail. Hazuki chose the third option in his mind, then turned to stare at Uchiha Makoto. Hazuki, why are you staring straight at people? It's so rude. Uchiha Makoto was embarrassed to be stared at, his big eyes fluttering in panic, and he didn't even know where to put his small hands. It's okay. I just think Makoto is pretty too, Hazuki said directly. Where, I'm just an ordinary girl, Hazuki, you don't need to speak your mind just because I share the food with you, it's fine. Uchiha Makoto said softly. No, it's nothing to do with the food. I really think you're good looking, so it's very suitable for you to develop something. Hazuki approached Makoto and said directly. Nurture. Makoto's eyes widened, his little head slightly clouded. You heard me wrong, what's your lunch today? Hazuki changed the subject. It's 2 small glutinous rice balls. Makoto took a careful look at Qian Hyuga Hazuki, and was inexplicably panicked, especially the word, cultivation, that was always lingering in his mind. Glutinous rice balls, yes, I like them. We will each have one at noon. Hazuki smiled. Okay. Makoto nodded his head, looked at Hazuki secretly, then lowered his head and pinched the corner of his shirt. This shy look surprised Hazuki. Could it be that this girl already has a crush on me? Hazuki said secretly, feeling faintly amused. Advertisement. Makoto, school is over in the afternoon, how about going to my house to play? Huh, but, you don't want to. Hazuki stared at Makoto, looking straight into her beautiful eyes. Me. Okay. That's the decision, isn't it allowed to refuse to know? Hazuki patted Makoto's little hand and announced the decision forcefully. Makoto opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he didn't know how to say it. Finally, he looked at the little hand that Hazuki had patted, and nodded shyly. Hazuki's eyes flashed when he heard the voice like a kitten, and he was in a good mood immediately. This girl has already treated me. Bang. The classroom door was pushed open, and 2 figures walked in. The leader was Nawaki, and the other was a blonde boy. Who is Hyuga Hazuki? Come out to me. Yamanaka Kaiichi said coolly while standing at the door of the classroom while playing with kunai. When everyone heard this, they collectively turned to look at Hazuki. Their performance naturally caught Yamanaka Kaiichi's attention, and he looked at Hazuki. Damn, this kid is so handsome, he's even more handsome than me. Yamanaka looked at Hazuki's face unhappily, and Shunin couldn't help but feel jealous. He is Yamanaka Kaiichi, the eldest son of the Yamanaka family, an excellent ninja student who is loved by thousands, and one of the most handsome people in his class. He was originally proud of his face, but after seeing Hazuki's cool and indifferent appearance, he couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. It's great to be handsome. Strength comes first. Huh. Yamanaka muttered. Advertisement. Seemingly feeling that his strength might not be able to beat Hyuga Hazuki, Yamanaka Kaiichi added, kunai throwing is a man's dream. Cough cough. Nawaki next to him coughed twice, signaling Yamanaka Kaiichi to do business. Hyuga Hazuki, I heard that you are very powerful, do you dare to compete with me in kunai throwing? Yamanaka Kai said eagerly, preparing to hit Hazuki's spirit with a kunai throw. Ding. Please choose. 1. Accept Yamanaka Kaiichi's challenge. Reward. 8 trigrams 32 palms. 2. Reject Yamanaka Kaiichi's challenge. Reward. All basic ninjutsu. 3. Reject Yamanaka Kaiichi's challenge and taunt in reverse. Reward. All basic ninjutsu plus 8 trigrams 32 palms. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Looking at the god-level choice that suddenly appeared, Hazuki's eyes flashed, and then he locked on the last item. All of these basic ninjutsu cover a wide range, such as escape, camouflage, immobilization, etc., although the effect is not very large, but sometimes it has miraculous effects. As for 8 trigrams 32 palms, Hazuki is actually planning to learn, but now that he can get rewards directly, Hazuki will not give up. So after choosing the third option, he looked up at Yamanaka Kaiichi. Now all the cats and dogs are coming to challenge me, and they don't even look at your pig-backed face. It's so cool to be so ugly, and your brain is going crazy. Hazuki said sarcastically, and deliberately looked at Yamanaka Kaiichi with disdain. That action can simply blow up the popularity. Pig kidney face. Who are you calling pig kidney face? I'm mad at me, I don't want to beat you. Face, never. Beat me. Are you sure? Hazuki clenched his fists and made a thud. 10 close black lens bracket competition. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. As soon as Yamanaka saw Hazuki's strong appearance, he felt a little timid in his heart. After all, he was not good at physical arts, and the family's heart turned around and the technique had not been learned, and his heart was always uncertain. Nawaki also said before that Hazuki's gentle fist is very powerful. Ordinary students can't beat him at all. Such an opponent really can't fight recklessly. So Yamanaka Kaiichi didn't know how to refute, and even forgot about his plan to challenge kunai's throw. Humph. Coward. Don't pollute the air outside if you're so ugly. Hazuki said 2 more words, waiting for the task to be completed. PFF'd. This Hyuga Hazuki swearing is too damaging, polluting the air. And the previous pig kidney face, how did you come up with this? Yeah, I didn't expect Hyuga Hazuki to be so arrogant not only in physical skills, but also in cursing. Mom, I won't provoke Hyuga Hazuki in the future anyway. It's a small thing to be beaten, and it's a shame to be hurt. The classmates in the class burst out laughing. Hazuki is so good at swearing, they can't figure out why. This Hazuki even swears with such a personality. So the students looked at Hazuki while talking, and some of the little girls were even more curious. As for Uchiha Makoto, who also blinked his big eyes, he secretly watched Hazuki, and the little hand that Hazuki had touched was even carefully guarded. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. Reward. All basic ninjutsu plus 8 trigrams 32 palms. Close black lens bracket. As the sound of the system fell, a huge amount of knowledge poured into Hazuki's mind, and was mastered by him with ease. The 8 trigrams 32 palms, which had only been read a few times, was engraved in his bones as if he had practiced it thousands of times, and it became his important fighting method. Feeling the increase in strength again, Hazuki turned his head and looked at Makoto beside him. Yeah, Makoto was looking at Hazuki secretly, and was taken aback by the sudden turn of her head. The eyes were facing each other, making her look like a bunny, and hurriedly turned her head and pretended to study. Such a funny and cute scene also brought a smile to Hazuki's lips. It's a beautiful life. Hazuki looked at the beautiful scenery outside the window and sniffed the body fragrance of the girl next to him. Under the warm sunshine, he felt extremely comfortable. Advertisement. Hey, Hyuga Hazuki, do you dare to play kunai throwing with me? Are you afraid? Is your so-called genius just a joke? An untimely voice interrupted Hazuki's imagination, and he turned his head helplessly to look at Yamanaka Kaiichi. I said, do you owe a fight? Ding. Please choose. 1. Have a friendly chat with Yamanaka Kaiichi and ask him to drop the challenge. Reward. Leaf Hurricane. 2. Accept Yamanaka Kaiichi's challenge and crush him in a kunai throw. Reward. 5 seals per second. 3. Ignoring Yamanaka Kaiichi's challenge, he dared to provoke and beat him directly. Reward. Wind-style Great Breakthrough. Hearing the system beep, Hazuki happily looked at the options that appeared again. It is really good luck that there are so many options today. This kind of crazy means of improving strength is simply not too happy. A delighted Hazuki glanced at the god-level options, wondering which one to choose. The option this time, as always, is the third option that is better, but Hazuki doesn't plan to choose it, because the second option of 5 per second is more important to him. The reason why I didn't choose Wind-style Great Breakthrough is because Hazuki can learn it in a short time according to his own mind, but 5 seals in 1 second need to practice hard, which will take a long time. So after weighing the pros and cons, Hazuki chose the second option. Open black lens bracket ding. The choice is complete. Master, come on. Close black lens bracket. Ignoring the system's voice, Hazuki stood up from his seat and stared at Yamanaka Kaiichi with piercing eyes. I'll wait for you at the number 1 training ground. The loser pays the winner 30,000 taels. Wait for you for 5 minutes. If you dare not come, don't be. The words fall. Hazuki didn't give Yamanaka Kaiichi a chance to react, and left the classroom and walked toward the training ground. Yamanaka Kaiichi didn't react until he left for a moment. 30,000 taels of reward. It seems a bit too much. Advertisement. Yamanaka Kai frowned, feeling a little hesitant. After all, this was the reward for a C rank mission, and he really didn't want to spend so much money at will. But when he thought about his kunai throwing, which he achieved from the entry level yesterday, he suddenly felt confident. I'm afraid you won't succeed. I'll let you know today that I, Yamanaka Kaiichi, are amazing. Yamanaka Kaiichi walked towards the training ground with his head held high with confidence, along with the students in the class. Even Makoto trotted after, hesitating for 2 seconds. Although she felt that Hazuki would not necessarily lose, she still couldn't help wanting to see it. So many people went to the training ground in a mighty manner, which naturally attracted the attention of many senior students. After these people talked quietly, they followed with curiosity. A few minutes later, a large group of people came to the number 1 training ground, waiting for the start of the game. You come first, whoever has the highest score wins. Hazuki said lightly. It is good. Yamanaka Kaiichi didn't have stage fright. He stood in the center of the arena generously, picked up the kunai and started throwing them. Chop. Kunai hit the target with precision. Although it missed the bullseye, it was enough to show the excellence of Yamanaka Kaiichi. Chop. There was another soft sound, and kunai hit again. Chop chop chop. After 3 more beeps, Yamanaka Kaiichi stood proudly in the center of the arena, stroked his hair with his right hand, and raised his head stinky. Nawaki, announce my score. Yamanaka said. There are scoring points on the target. The edge of the target is 1 point. The further you go in, the higher the score, up to 20 points, which is the bullseye. Okay. All 5 kunai hits, and the estimated score is 65. Nawaki announced loudly. 65 points. Awesome. Yamanaka Kaiichi's kunai throw is really strong. It's really strong, and the students in the graduating class are not necessarily at this level. Advertisement. The Yamanaka clan really has something. The surrounding students were talking, and many people cast admiring glances at Yamanaka Kai. Humph. Listening to the compliments around, Yamanaka Kaiichi's head was raised higher, and at the same time he snorted coldly to show his arrogance, but the smile on the corner of his lips showed that he was very happy. It's your turn, Hazuki. Nawaki next to him reminded in time. Come on Hazuki. Makoto stood in the crowd and shouted, and when she realized that everyone was looking at her, she lowered her head blushing. Makoto, come here. Hazuki waved at Makoto and took 5 kunai from his ninja bag. Ah, oh, okay. Uchiha Makoto was a little dazed, but he obediently came to Hazuki's side. Looking at my wrists and power generating skills, kunai throwing is actually quite simple. Hazuki demonstrated to Makoto, and after explaining it again, his right hand suddenly increased. In an instant, The 5 kunai blasted away with the sound of breaking wind, and disappeared like 5 cold lights. Chop 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 chop. 5 crisp sounds came, and the entire training ground immediately fell silent. People stared blankly at the 5 targets, staring at the bullseye in disbelief. 5 kunai threw at the same time. And hit at the same time. The key also hit the bullseye all the FK. Mummy, it's a little scary. This kid named Hyuga Hazuki, Kuei's throwing is too powerful. Damn, are the little devils so strong now? How do I feel that I have practiced on dogs all these years? It's unbelievable. This is actually a competition for lower grade students. It's better than our graduating class. 6%. 11. I'm not hungry. Ask for evaluation tickets. Ask for flowers, monthly tickets. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The students looked at Hazuki in the center of the field and talked and were amazed at the ability he showed. You must know that even senior students cannot achieve this level of kunai throwing. After all, 5 kunai hit the bullseye at the same time. Such an ability is simply unimaginable. So, the students who saw this scene all widened their eyes, some of the little girls opened their mouths in surprise, and even Uchiha Makoto looked cute. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the second item, rewarded with 5 seals per second. As the sound of the system fell, Hazuki clearly noticed that his hands were more flexible, and the speed of the knots of his hands had been greatly increased. Not bad, it's much better than I imagined. Even some jonin can't achieve such a speed of printing. The strength was improved in disguise, and Hazuki looked at Uchiha Makoto next to him. Girl, have you learned to throw kunai? Ah, well, learned. Uchiha Makoto said dumbly, his little head seemed a little confused. Are you sure you learned it? Seeing Makoto's goofy look, Hazuki asked suspiciously. Okay, I don't seem to have learned. Uchiha Makoto bowed his head embarrassedly, clasping a pair of white and tender hands together, looking very embarrassed. You. Hazuki tapped Makoto's forehead and sighed helplessly. This cute girl is usually so smart, but now she is blurring. Ding. Please choose. Advertisement. 1. Teach Uchiha Makoto kunai throwing. Reward. Wind-style flower scatter dance. 2. Ignore Uchiha Makoto and leave directly. Reward. Earth-style rock stealing stick. 3. Pull up Uchiha Makoto's little hand and take her to skip class. Reward. Fire-style great fireball technique plus a small amount of chakra. Hazuki looked at the options that suddenly appeared, and was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect to chat with Makoto at all, and it triggered the god-level choice, which was really surprising. But there were options, so naturally, the best one had to be chosen. Obviously, the third option was the best, so Chianyu chose this one. In fact, the second item is also good, but Hazuki has no earth attribute, so this item has little effect on him. Hazuki, can you teach me to suffer from throwing again? Makoto's beautiful voice came from beside him, as sweet as a lark. Hazuki looked at her with a smile and said, yes, but you must come with me. Come with you. Isn't there still a class? Makoto wondered, blinking with big eyes. You'll find out in a moment. Hazuki took Makoto's little hand, and before she could react, he turned and walked away. After walking a few steps, Hazuki turned to look at Yamanaka Kai and said, my 30,000 taels. 30,000 taels. I'll give it to you right away. Yamanaka Kaiichi replied gloomily, turned his pocket upside down, finally collected enough money, and handed it to Hazuki reluctantly. I won't give up. When I learn the secret art of the family, I will definitely defeat you. Yamanaka Kai said to save face. Really? It's better not to make me wait too long, otherwise you won't even be qualified to challenge me. Hazuki took the money and said lightly, then dragged the silly Makoto to the classroom. There was only a group of people left, watching Hazuki's back in awe. Another genius has risen. Yeah, it's still the Hyuga clan. As expected, the big clan is different. Hyuga Hazuki. I remember. Advertisement. Yamanaka Kai listened to the discussions around him, and his heart was full of depression and unhappiness, but Hazuki's strength was too strong. He was no match for anyone, and he could only admit it. Hey, 30,000 yuan is gone. It seems that I can only borrow it from Akamaiki Dingza and Nara Shikaku. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. Reward. Fire style great fireball technique plus a small amount of chakra. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the sound in his head, Hazuki pulled Makoto, who was blushing, and left the classroom with his lunch and headed out of the school. Hazuki, are you really going to skip class? Uchiha Makoto worried. As a good girl, she really did not miss class, and now she was taken away from school by Hazuki. Her nervous little heart was beating wildly. It's just skipping class, don't worry. Hazuki didn't worry about bringing Makoto down, but instead dragged her to the lively street. By the way, Makoto, call me Hazuki big brother from now on, okay? Ah, but Makoto was a little shy, trying to break free from Hazuki's big hand, but unfortunately failed. No, but do you want to know? Hazuki stared at Makoto's eyes firmly. Okay. Okay, Hazuki, big brother. Makoto said embarrassedly. Good boy, let's go, I'll take you to buy something. Hazuki thought of the mask shop at the corner of the street, which sold all kinds of animal masks, and it was also a special channel for Anbu to purchase. The last time Hazuki left Konoha village in search of Kushina, it was with the mask he bought from here. Hazuki intends to buy one side for Makoto, so as to close the relationship between the two parties and complete the task as soon as possible. To be honest, this girl is really good, and her character is definitely typical of a good wife and mother, so Hazuki really has plans to accept this girl. As for other things, we will talk about it later. So he took Makoto to the mask shop, and noticed that Makoto wanted to break free from the little hand, but Makoto tried to break free several times without success, and then seemed to give up and let him pull. As a result, Hazuki's lips curled into a smile, and he sighed that the girls in the Hokage world are easy to attack. As long as you get in touch with them early, you can impress her, and it is easy to succeed. For example, the future Hyuga Hinata, when he was bullied as a child, Naruto stepped in to help, and this is the future. Advertisement. Here, let's take a look at these masks, which one do you like, I'll give it to you. Hazuki said, pulling Makoto. Either. You can. Makoto was shy from beginning to end, with big eyes blinking cutely, and his voice was so small that he could barely hear him. How about this cat face mask? It looks exquisite. Hazuki looked through a few masks, and finally settled on a cat face mask, which is actually the same as his mask, but he likes this style so much that he doesn't mind buying another one. It's fine, Hazuki big brother is in charge. Makoto has lost his mind, and he follows Hazuki around like a marionette, letting him make choices. That's fine, I want this one, and the boss will give you the money. Okay. After paying the bill, Hazuki handed the mask to Makoto. Hey, I gave it to you, keep it well, don't allow it to be lost, you know. Well, thank you Hazuki big brother, I'll treat you to dinner, but it's a little small. Makoto hurriedly opened his lunch box. 2 small rice balls appeared quickly, and there was a good smell of rice at the same time. It's such a small rice ball, these 2 don't seem to be enough. Hazuki frowned. I'm not hungry, Hazuki big brother, I'll give it to you. Aren't you hungry? Are you sure? Hazuki swept Makoto's stomach and looked at her with a half smile. Just 12, walking in lightning style, begging for flowers for evaluation tickets. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The moment Makoto opened the rice ball, Hazuki heard a grunt sound in addition to smelling the rice. It was obvious that the girl was hungry. But she said that she was not hungry, but gave herself both rice balls, which was really touching. Girl, we agreed on 1 rice ball per person, you must eat 1, understand? Without giving Makoto time to react, Hazuki took out 1 of the rice balls and put them in her small hands, then took another rice ball and ate it with a big mouthful. Yes, it tastes pretty good, Hazuki said in admiration. When I smelled the aroma just now, Hazuki thought that this rice ball must be delicious, but I didn't expect it to be really fragrant. From this, it can be seen that Makoto's cooking skills are definitely good, and she is definitely a good wife who has a good kitchen. It will be a real blessing to marry her in the future, so this girl, Hazuki has been developed. Girl, what are you doing? Hurry up and eat. After Hazuki finished eating the rice ball, he saw Makoto staring at him in a daze, and forcefully told her to eat the rice ball quickly. Okay. Makoto nodded his head, with a hint of shyness and gratitude in his big eyes, and he looked very bright when he looked at Hazuki. But she didn't dare to meet Hazuki's eyes. Every time she looked at each other, she would dodge like a bunny. Only when Hazuki looked elsewhere did she dare to look at him secretly. Of course, she was really hungry, so she took the rice ball and ate it in small bites. Makoto's body is small and cute, and he eats food slowly and carefully, very elegant. Even after taking a few bites, I only ate 1/5 of the rice ball. If it was Hazuki, I would have eaten it in a few bites, but she ate very slowly. Ding. Please choose. 1. Interact more with Makoto to increase feelings. Reward. Wind style great breakthrough. 2. Praise Makoto for being good looking and take her to play. Bonus. Water style water body technique. Advertisement. 3. Doing too much to Makoto. Reward. Lightning style walk plus 20% increase in chakra. God level selection was triggered once again. Hazuki's mood was as sweet as honey, but Hazuki was a little bit troubled about task selection. Because the third item Hazuki wanted to choose, but his relationship with Makoto was not suitable for doing too much. After all, the time together was short. So Hazuki hesitated for a few seconds and finally made a choice. Don't eat it, girl. Hazuki looked at Makoto's cute gulps and stopped her directly. Hey, what's wrong with Hazuki, big brother? Makoto said cutely. The rice ball in his little hand was only half eaten. Give me the rice ball. Hazuki said suddenly, looking very strong. Oh. Makoto handed the rice ball to Hazuki confused, not sure what was going on. But the next second, her eyes widened. Because after her Hazuki big brother took the rice ball, he ate the rice ball in 2 or 3 bites. Hazuki big brother, you. Makoto blushed. Her little ears became hot and hot. She had bitten the rice ball, and there were even small teeth marks on the rice ball. But she never thought that Hazuki would eat the rice ball, and eat it so quickly, she didn't even react. Hazuki big brother is too much. Makoto lowered his head shyly, wanting to say these words, but in the end he didn't say it. The atmosphere between the two gradually became subtle. It's really fragrant. It's all your fault for making it so delicious, I can't help it. Hazuki eased the atmosphere. Advertisement. Hey. Makoto couldn't help laughing and laughing. It was Hazuki's big brother who did something too much, but it was her fault. Helpless, Makoto gave Hazuki an angry look. But she didn't notice that she, who was already a beauty embryo, also had a lot of charm at this moment, and that little loli's angered appearance really made Hazuki electrocute. It seems that I decided to cultivate it as a good choice. Hazuki said secretly. The two walked hand in hand like this. Makoto kept his head down all the time. Of course, his stomach looked a little hungry, but she didn't say it and didn't want to add trouble to Hazuki. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. Lightning style walking plus chakra increased by 20%. Close black lens bracket. Hazuki ignored the system, but turned to Makoto and said, follow me. Yeah. Makoto nodded shyly, letting Hazuki take her little hand and run into the distance. A few minutes later, the two stopped at the door of a grilled fish shop. Makoto, let me treat you to grilled fish, Hazuki suggested. I don't want it anymore, it will waste a lot of money. Makoto is worried about spending money. She is frugal and doesn't want to waste money, especially in stores. It will definitely cost a lot of money in the shop. Although he is an ordinary member of the Hyuga family, he still has some savings, not to mention the 30,000 taels he just won. Hazuki big brother, if we don't go, we will spend a lot of money. Makoto is still reluctant to spend money. Since she was a child, she has developed the habit of frugality and is unwilling to waste a little money. Speaking of which, her family's situation is even worse, and her savings are almost zero, so she usually eats very little to save money. It could be seen that Makoto really didn't want to go, even if it cost Hazuki's money, so Hazuki hesitated. Advertisement. Money. Hazuki didn't care at all, but he cared about Makoto's feelings. But not eating was definitely not enough. Hazuki knew that Makoto was definitely not getting enough, and he wasn't getting enough either. What if I don't go to the store? Yes. Hazuki's eyes lit up. He took Makoto's white and soft hands, and quickly came to a material store. Then he bought some materials under Makoto's puzzled eyes, and turned to the direction of Hokage Rock. Where are we going, Hazuki big brother? We have class this afternoon. Makoto asked in a low voice. You'll know when you go, come quickly. Hazuki didn't say much, and took Makoto to a small river near Hokage Rock. Makoto, make a fire, I'll catch fish, and let's grill it. Hazuki said with a smile. Grilled fish. Okay. Makoto nodded, but his big eyes were worried. There are actually many small rivers in Konoha, and children often come to the river to catch fish. It's a pity that it's good to be able to catch a small fish after working for an hour or two. After all, they are only children and have not yet become ninjas. So Makoto was worried that Hazuki wouldn't be able to catch any fish. So she watched Hazuki come to the river, waiting to comfort him later. Go lightning style. ZZ. Crackling. A burst of white lightning flashed, and a few carp floated to the surface. And Makoto, who was staring at Hazuki, stood up. God, Hazuki big brother, you can actually know ninjutsu, and you're still a rare lightning style ninjutsu. It's amazing. Makoto said in disbelief, his face full of shock. Open black lens bracket 13 close black lens bracket grilled fish. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The reason why Uchiha Makoto was so surprised was that all the Hyuga clan practiced were taijutsu, such as gentle fist, 8 trigrams palms and so on. But Hazuki actually used ninjutsu, which surprised her somewhat. The key point is that Hazuki is still very young, and students of this age group are almost new to chakra refining. Like Ino Shika Cho, Namikaze Minato, Nawaki, they are just refining chakra. But Hazuki not only refined chakra, but even learned ninjutsu, which surprised Uchiha Makoto. She was even startled to open her eyes slightly, and her pure white teeth showed. And her cute state was just seen by Hazuki, who came back with the fish. What's the matter with you? Why are you looking at me like this? Hazuki asked suspiciously, thinking about going to catch a fish, and when he came back, Makoto looked like this. Hazuki big brother, you are able to perform ninjutsu, how did you do it? There are only a handful of people of our age who can do this. Makoto asked with his big eyes flashing, his dark eyes full of curiosity. You mean walking in lightning style? Want to learn? I'll teach you. Hazuki smiled. Well, I want to learn, can Hazuki big brother teach me? Makoto nodded like a good baby. Of course, let's grill the fish first, and I'll teach you ninjutsu after dinner. Okay. The two started to get busy. Makoto was the head chef at the beginning, and when she realized that her grilled fish was not as good as Hazuki's, her eyes widened again. Advertisement. Eat. Why are you so stupid? Hazuki said, placing the grilled fish in Makoto's little hands. Hazuki big brother, don't you cook especially delicious? Makoto asked with his big eyes flashing, brilliance in his eyes. It's okay, I live by myself and occasionally study some food. Hazuki nodded. In his previous life, he often cooked, and he also had some experience in food. After traveling to the world of Hokage, these cooking methods were naturally brought over. He didn't feel anything, but the fact that he cooked food so well at his age had a big impact on Makoto. Hazuki big brother, can you teach me how to grill fish? I learned to make it for Hazuki big brother. Makoto said expectantly. She never thought that Hazuki could make grilled fish so delicious. In this Japanese-style Hokage world, it is very rare for boys to cook, and it is even rarer to be able to cook so delicious. The key point is that this Hazuki big brother is still indifferent and seems to be used to it, which is enough to prove that Hazuki big brother is better than usual. To be honest, Makoto is very fortunate to have skipped class this time, because through this understanding, she discovered more highlights of Hazuki big brother, which made her more curious and admired. Ding. Please choose. 1. Agree to teach Uchiha Makoto to grill fish, reward, Earth attribute. 2. Refuse to teach Uchiha Makoto to grill fish, reward, Wind-style flower dance. 3. Forcibly bring Uchiha Makoto into the house to live together, reward, Wind-style great breakthrough plus a small amount of chakra. Looking at the god-level choice that suddenly appeared, Hazuki was stunned for half a second, and a light flashed in his eyes. But, after seeing the content of the god-level choice, Hazuki hesitated. The third item of that option is really too much, and if you really do it according to the third item, it is likely to make things particularly bad. Advertisement. After all, the time he spent with Makoto was too short. If Makoto was forcibly brought to live with him, it would probably cause harm to the girl, which he didn't want to see. Hazuki wanted to win this girl's heart more, so he thought for a moment and decided to give up the third item. Even if the reward for the third item was a little more, Hazuki was reluctant to choose. For some things, you must have your own bottom line, and you can't pursue power too much, so he resolutely chose the first item. Open black lens bracket ding. After the selection is complete, come on, master. Close black lens bracket. Listening to the system prompt, Hazuki took a deep breath and said, Makoto, come beside me and I'll teach you how to grill fish. Okay. Makoto walked over happily on small feet, looking forward to waiting to be taught. Actually, grilling fish is very simple. The master can bake the fish at 2 points. The first point is the heat. A good heat directly affects the taste of the fish. The second point is naturally the seasoning. The order of seasoning is also very particular. Watch me bake it again. Hazuki taught Makoto a little bit with the fish, and explained all the points and tricks. Not to mention, this girl Makoto is very talented in cooking. After just learning it once, she can make grilled fish in a good way, especially the placement of seasonings. She is an instant master, very excellent. But there is one thing she is not sure about, that is, the evenness of grilling the fish, that is, the frequency of grilling the fish is not as good as the master. So Hazuki came behind her, wrapped her waist from behind, and pulled her hands up. Come on. Grill the fish with my frequency, you must test evenly. Hazuki said lightly. Okay. Makoto lowered her head shyly and secretly looked at the hands that Hazuki was clasping. She could feel the temperature of Hazuki big brother's big hands, very warm and soft. Girl, don't be distracted, study hard. Oh. Stupid girl, didn't you learn to put seasonings just now? Why can't you do it now? Hazuki hit Makoto with a head. Advertisement. Right. I'm sorry. Makoto looked at his toes with dodging eyes, and his little face flushed really nicely. It's okay, I'll teach you again. Hazuki said helplessly. Huh, teach it all over again. Makoto looked at the little hand that Hazuki was holding, shyly not knowing what to say. Yes, study hard this time, don't be distracted, remember. Okay. The teaching started again. Although he still stumbled this time, Makoto's talent in cooking is really high. Even in a distracted state, he has mastered the tricks. After practicing a few times, he finally mastered it completely. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the first item, reward, soil attribute. Hey, it's finally done. Hazuki breathed a sigh of relief, rubbing Makoto's head with his big hands. Hazuki big brother was bothered. Makoto said with pink ears. It's okay, just learn it. Huh. Hazuki big brother, why do you have a small circle of tiny teeth marks on your wrist? Makoto asked suspiciously. It's all right, let's continue grilling the fish, and we'll go back to school after eating. Hazuki saw the disappearing tooth marks on his wrist, thought of Kushina, and hurriedly changed the subject. Okay. Makoto nodded. In fact, she recognized at a glance that the small tooth mark was left by the girl, but she didn't know how to speak, so she could only choose to remain silent, and her mood seemed a little lower. The other side. Accompanied by Mr. Yako, Kushina went to the ninja school, and she even set a goal in her heart. Big brother, I will definitely find you. When I have the strength, I will find you even in the ends of the earth. For nothing else, I just want to say to you, thank you. Open black lens bracket 14 close black lens bracket Rasengan. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In the afternoon, in the warm classroom, Hazuki lay on the table bored and distracted, thinking about the direction of future strength in his mind. After a series of God-level choices, his strength has been unprecedentedly improved, and various low-level abilities have become masters. Although this kind of strength is incomparable to ninjas, it definitely reaches the grades of the graduating class, even surpassing the vast majority of students. The system opens my data panel. Hazuki said secretly. Ding. Hyuga Hazuki. Beginner Sage Body. Attributes. Yang, Wind, Fire, Thunder, Earth. Talent. Excellent. Template. 5% Saitama template, 2/5 times. Comments. He looks like a little boy, but he is actually a big devil who destroys the world. System. Let me show the various ninja abilities of my master once. Hazuki secretly said. Ding. Good master. Please check. 1. Ability. Shuriken Grandmaster plus treading water and climbing trees plus 3 body technique plus 5 seals in 1 second plus all basic ninjutsu plus 8 trigrams 32 palms plus lightning style walking. 2. Unfinished mission. Catch Uchiha Makoto, make her willing to be your girlfriend, and reward with a mysterious gift pack. Looking at the detailed personal data, coupled with the enhanced physical and mental strength, as well as chakra and gentle fist, Hazuki has a clearer understanding of his own strength. Of course, Hazuki will not be complacent. Although he has the ability to destroy the world, his endurance is still a bit poor and needs to be improved. At the very least, the goal can be achieved by raising his strength to super cage level. With such strength and the template of One Punch Man, Hazuki can live in the world of ninja at ease. Advertisement. Speaking of which, this ninja school is really a good place. After triggering many choices in such a short period of time, the characters in the plot are really powerful. Hazuki said, looking at Makoto next to him. At this moment, this girl is studying with a textbook, and her focused appearance is also very pleasant. Every time Hazuki sees this girl's good-looking girl, he wants to bully her, even now, so Hazuki's eyes rolled and an idea came to his mind. His right hand was quietly under the desk, stretched out beside Makoto, and then grabbed Makoto's nephrite-like little hand. Yeah, Makoto was caught off guard by a small exclamation, but she stopped her voice in time and was not heard by others, and she didn't seem embarrassed. Looking at Hazuki's small hand, Makoto was shy and didn't know what to do. Hazuki, big brother, don't make trouble. Makoto replied shyly. Girl. Hazuki lowered his voice. What's wrong, Hazuki, big brother? I play at my house after school, you know. Hazuki stared at Makoto forcefully, clasping his big hand tightly, which seemed to represent his determination. Feeling the strength coming from the little hand, Makoto was both shy and helpless. She had nothing to do with this strong Hazuki, big brother. In desperation, Makoto had to make a low hum, and then dared not speak again. So nice. Hazuki smiled, his big hand still reluctant to let go, playing with Makoto's little hand under the desk. This girl's hands are small and blended, which can be described as weak and boneless, and with a faint fragrance, it smells very good. So Hazuki couldn't put it down, so that Makoto kept his little head down. Squeak. Advertisement. The classroom door was pushed open, and then 2 figures, one big and one small, entered the classroom. The leader was teacher Yazi, and the small figure behind her was the vortex Kushina. Seeing Kushina coming to the classroom, Hazuki's eyes flickered, and he continued to play with his little hands. Everyone, be quiet, everyone. Today I will introduce a new classmate to you. Teacher Yako's voice attracted everyone's attention, and the students in the entire class were looking at the red-haired Kushina curiously. As for Namikaze Minato, he turned his attention to Kushina for the first time. Next, let Kushina introduce herself, everyone will be classmates in the future. After Mr. Yako finished, she motioned for Kushina to introduce herself. Kushina looked a little restrained, but she bravely started to introduce herself. Hello everyone, my name is Vortex Kushina, my dream is to become a female Hokage, and then find a big brother. After Kushina finished speaking, she looked at the students in the class nervously, waiting for the welcome applause. But instead of applause, there was ridicule. Female Hokage. What are you kidding? Where are the female Hokages in all dynasties? Yeah, how could a female doll of yours become Hokage? First generation, second generation, and third generation are all male. That's right, Hokage must have great strength, do you? Just because you have a tomato face, you still want to be a female Hokage. You are delusional, and you want to be a Hokage to find some big brother, what kind of crazy idea? There was a lot of discussion in the class, ridiculing Kushina's dream. What the last student said was even more unpleasant, even called Kushina tomato face, and said she was mentally retarded. Such unpleasant words made Kushina's head helpless, and his big eyes were filled with mist. She lost her parents, her family, even her only big brother left, she lost everything. Advertisement. I originally planned to improve my strength to become a female Hokage, and then look for her big brother, but I didn't expect to be ridiculed like this. She was already in pain and helplessness in her heart, but at this moment, in the sound of ridicule, she felt extremely sad in her heart, and tears were even rolling in her eyes, and there was a faint tendency to drip. Haha. When you look at this tomato face, you are almost crying. Such a person wants to be a female Hokage. It's just a dream. The unpleasant student spoke again, and said it very loudly. Snapped. A crisp slap interrupted all the sarcasm. The student who was called the most wanshi just now and who spoke the most nasty words was bleeding from the corner of his lips with a slap. Do you want to die? The cold voice echoed in everyone's ears, and the entire classroom became a few degrees colder because of this sentence. The student who spoke badly was also stunned by this slap, and a faint feeling of fear spread in his heart. How many of you are you tired of living? Hazuki's indifferent voice echoed, and his knife-like eyes swept across the clamoring students. The invisible pressure made them dare not take a breath. A bunch of trash. Seeing the helpless appearance of those students, and seeing that they didn't dare to look at him in fear, Hazuki let out a disdainful laugh and turned to his seat. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the options, reward, Rasengan. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the voice in his head, Hazuki sat back in his seat indifferently, then took Makoto's little hand and continued to lie on the table in a daze. Hearing those students mocking Kushina just now, the new god level option was triggered again. Hazuki naturally wouldn't let such an opportunity pass up, and that's why he had the scene in front of him. But Hazuki was finished, but the class was silent, and everyone stared at him in shock, including characters like Namikaze Minato and Nawaki. As for Kushina, she stared at Hazuki with tears in her eyes. For some reason, she suddenly had the illusion that she was being protected by her big brother. 1-5 close black lens bracket I miss. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's a pity that Kushina knows that the big brother has left and completely left Konoha village, and it is impossible for the big brother to take classes at the ninja school. With such a destructive power, he will naturally be happy in the world, and it is absolutely impossible to be with a group of children. Study. So Kushina sighed, lamenting that she was thinking wildly. Of course, this new classmate who helped her still has to thank her, so she looked at Hazuki and said, "Thank you for your help. It's all right, it's just not pleasing to the eyes of these incompetent trash." Hazuki said lazily, and continued to play with his little hands. The student who was beaten by him flinched and did not dare to speak. He lowered his head and looked at the table silently. On the other hand, Teacher Yazi on the podium was angry. How can a teacher allow students to fight, although she feels that Hazuki is doing the right thing, but as a teacher it is still fair? So she said, "Hyuga Hazuki, Tien Gang is your classmate, how can you beat your classmate? Please apologize to him." Apology. You ask him. If he wants me to apologize, I'll apologize. Hazuki glanced at Na Tien Gang indifferently and said, "No. Don't apologize, it's really my fault, I shouldn't mock my classmates." Tien Gang said fearfully, not daring to look at Hazuki at all. Seeing that Tien Gang was so frightened, Mr. Yazi had nothing to say and could only change the subject. "Kushina, choose a seat and sit down." "Good teacher." Kushina nodded her head and looked around for a location. "Hello Kushina, my name is Namikaze Minato, you can come and sit next to me, there is a seat here." Namikaze Minato said with a smile, looking sunny and handsome. Advertisement. Kushina shook her head when she heard it. Namikaze Minato did not help when she was making things difficult just now, which left an unreliable impression on Kushina, so she refused without hesitation. At this time, Kushina looked at Hazuki who was helping him, but after seeing Uchiha Makoto, Kushina hesitated and didn't choose to go, but walked to the back row, intending to be alone. Ding. Please choose. 1. Persuade Kushina to sit next to Namikaze Minato. Reward. Seal of the 5 elements. 2. Ignore Kushina and let him choose freely. Reward. Healing. 3. Strong command vortex Kushina to sit next to it. Reward. 6 seals per second plus one-handed seal. What? Seeing the god level choice of the last one-handed seal, Hazuki's cold eyes flashed with light. As a Hokage fan, Hazuki clearly knows how much the one-handed knot seal can improve combat effectiveness. The more expert you are, the higher your combat power will be. The difference between every minute and every second of a master's battle is the difference between life and death. So this one-handed knot must be obtained. Do it when you think of it. Hazuki's languid state immediately became more energetic, and then he looked at Kushina. Uzumaki Kushina, sit next to me, Hazuki said loudly, staring straight at Kushina. Huh. Kushina heard someone call her and looked back to where the voice came from. Seeing a familiar figure, Kushina hesitated for 2 seconds, then nodded in agreement. Advertisement. This classmate named Hazuki helped her after all. Since he proposed to sit next to her, Kushina couldn't refuse, so she walked over. Thank you for your help just now, just call me Kushina. Kushina thanked again after sitting down. You're welcome, my name is Hyuga Hazuki, you can call me Hazuki. Hazuki glanced at Kushina and found that she was a little more haggard than that day. Hazuki frowned in such a state. Obviously, his departure had a great impact on this girl, but he was not suitable for staying under the circumstances, so he had no choice but to leave. Fortunately, this girl has gone to school, and being friends with her will not make her so lonely. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the task. Reward, 6 seals per second plus one-handed seal. Hearing the sound in his head and feeling his hands become more flexible after the warm current, Hazuki's mind was immediately attracted to him. 6 seals per second plus one-handed seal, such an improvement is not small for him, and it can definitely have an unexpected effect in combat. In this ninja world, there are only a handful of people who can do one-handed knots. Many people have practiced for many years, but they are not able to do one-handed knots. This one-handed seal is actually a skill that requires a lot of talent. Even the ninja professor Sarutobi Hiruzen can't do one-handed seal. So Hazuki is very fortunate to get the one-handed knot seal. While Hazuki was contemplating, Namikaze Minato on the other side stared at him blankly, his eyes filled with envy. Knowing that Kushina would sit next to Hazuki, Namikaze Minato should help Kushina as soon as possible. Especially looking at Hazuki's 2 cute girls, one on the left and one on the right, Namikaze Minato felt depressed and wanted to pinch himself twice. It seems that after returning home, I need to improve my strength. I must make myself stronger, and then surpass Hyuga Hazuki to become the best student. Namikaze Minato secretly said. There are many people who think the same way as Namikaze Minato, such as Naoki, Yamanaka Kaiichi, and even the entire class. Advertisement. Facing the tyrannical classmate Hazuki, everyone felt the invisible pressure, so one by one vowed in their hearts to improve their strength. Hazuki didn't know that because of his own reasons, he made these students work harder, and of course he didn't care even if he knew, because he found that Kushina was looking at him strangely. What are you looking at? Hazuki stared at Kushina with a frown. He asked himself that he didn't reveal his strength, but this girl looked at him frequently, which was very strange. It's okay. It's okay. Kushina's apologetic Yaoyao's small head, but her big eyes looked at Hazuki from time to time. When he was hugged by the big brother in the form of a princess, Kushina smelled the big brother's breath, and the smell of Hazuki next to him seemed to be very similar to the big brother's, but Kushina was not sure. And she always thought it was impossible. After all, the big brother was so powerful, how could he teach in this low-level student class, so Kushina thought he was thinking wildly. That's it. Time passed little by little, and soon it was time for school. During this period of time, Kushina was always in awe, thinking of her big brother, the big brother who came down like a god in times of crisis and saved her from the crisis. She wanted to see the big brother very much, so she wanted so much, so there was always a longing in her beautiful eyes, but unfortunately she knew that it was all in vain, and the big brother was probably far away. Let's go Makoto and play at my house. A cold voice came from beside him. It was very nice and had a hint of magnetism. It was obviously the voice of that Hazuki classmate. Kushina sighed helplessly. Such a voice is completely different from the big brother's voice, how could it be a person? So Kushina shook her head out of the way, watching Hazuki and Makoto leave, while she silently packed up and prepared to leave. Suddenly Kushina froze and looked sharply at Hazuki who was leaving. 16 close black lens bracket beyond Hazuki. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I actually forgot my teeth marks. I bit my big brother that day. It's only been 2 or 3 days now. The teeth marks are definitely still there. If Hazuki is a big brother, just look at his wrist. Thinking of this, Kushina hurried out of the classroom, but because he left too late, Hazuki disappeared. Depressed and stomping her feet, Kushina secretly said, Tomorrow I can definitely check your arm to see if you are a big brother. The other side. Hazuki took Makoto after a few minutes' journey and returned to his home, number 7 of the Hyuga family. This is actually a very remote small courtyard. There are no people within 30 meters around the courtyard, and some only have trees and plants. Although it is a bit remote, it seems to be more quiet and peaceful. Except the courtyard is a bit old, it is also a good place. Come in and see my house. Hazuki gestured to Makoto to please. Very nice. Very elegant and chic. Makoto carefully looked around the small courtyard and found that there were many flowers planted in the courtyard. On the other side of the courtyard wall was a target, which was obviously a place to throw kunai. The furnishings and environment in the house were also neatly arranged, clean and tidy, which surprised her. But, a pot of broken flowers in the courtyard affects the environment a bit. It was accidentally broken, let me sort it out. Hazuki said. This flower was accidentally broken when he clenched his fist yesterday. He was in a hurry to find Kushina, so he didn't have time to tidy it up. Now he just finished tidying it. Hazuki big brother, let me help you. Makoto came to help sensible. Advertisement. The two small figures cooperated and quickly changed the flower pot and finished the arrangement. Come and wash your hands in the house, this is the washing room. Okay. Girl, I'll teach you how to throw kue in a while. Hazuki looked at the well-behaved Makoto and decided to reward her. Hazuki big brother, can I ask you something? Makoto asked embarrassedly. Huh, tell me something. There was curiosity in Hazuki's eyes. I want to learn cooking with you. You are so good at grilling fish. Your cooking skills must be great. Makoto said with big eyes and a little star. Okay, don't you want to learn? Hazuki wondered. In his opinion, strength is everything. If there is a chance to gain stronger strength, he will naturally choose strength. Well, I like cooking, can I learn it later? Makoto said, clutching his hands. No problem. Hazuki smiled. This girl obviously belongs to the type of a good wife and a good mother. She is not very keen on fighting or anything, but prefers cooking. I'll teach you how to make fish, steamed fish, stewed fish, fried fish, braised fish. You can come to my house every day in the future, and I will teach you more cooking skills. Really? There are so many ways to do fish, Hazuki big brother, you are amazing. Makoto's big eyes sparkled, full of curiosity. Humph, this is just the way of fish, and the way of various ingredients, it will definitely open your eyes. Hazuki said to himself. Great, Hazuki big brother is great. Makoto jumped happily like a lively elf. Come on. Let's prepare the ingredients first. Okay. The two small figures began to work again, and soon a mouth-watering aroma came from the kitchen. Advertisement. The other side. In a corner of the village. Namikaze Minato was saying something to Jiraiya with a serious look on his face. Minato, don't worry, after you refine chakra, I will teach you to tread water and climb trees. This was taught by the teacher who led the team after graduation. Hazuki will never tread water or climb trees. Jiraiya said loudly. Thank you Mr. Jiraiya, I will study hard and surpass Hyuga Hazuki. Namikaze Minato swears with his right fist clenched. Good. Jiraiya laughed, joy in her eyes. When he taught Namikaze Minato earlier, in fact Namikaze Minato was not in such a hurry to learn as he is now. After all Namikaze Minato had his own plans, but now Namikaze Minato changed his mind. And the person who caused Namikaze Minato to change his mind was the child named Hyuga Hazuki. To be honest, Jiraiya was somewhat grateful to Hazuki. After all, the confrontation between geniuses is the easiest way to improve the strength of both sides. Previously, Jiraiya was worried about who to find Minato's opponent, but now he appeared directly. It was as if he was dozing off and someone gave him a pillow. Jiraiya was so happy. Of course, his own students must not be defeated by Hyuga Hazuki, otherwise he is too embarrassing as a teacher, so Jiraiya took Namikaze Minato to start learning. Also studying hard as Naoki. After he understood the gap with Hazuki, he followed Tsunade for the first time when he got home, trying to learn new abilities. The ability he chose is 3-body technique, which is also an important basic ninjutsu, a ninjutsu that future students must take when they graduate. Naoki decided to learn the 3-body technique recently, and then beat Hazuki in front of everyone, making everyone look up to him. HMPH, I will definitely defeat your Hazuki, just wait. Naoki snorted and fell into the practice of refining chakra. On the other hand, Tsunade, on the other hand, pressed his chin with his small snow-white hand, watching all this quietly. Advertisement. A genius from the Hyuga family. I didn't expect 3 geniuses from the Hyuga family this year, Hyuga Hiyashi, Hyuga Hazashi, and this Hyuga Hazuki. It seems that they need to strengthen their training. Tsunade decided to strengthen Naoki's training and not let others look down on Naoki. After all, Naoki is her younger brother and a descendant of first-generation second Hokage, so it shouldn't be too embarrassing. So her beautiful eyes flashed and she looked at Naoki with a half-smile. Naoki, after completing the chakra refining task today, practice kunai throwing, and wait until the early morning to rest. In the early morning? Don't you usually practice until 8 o'clock? Naoki asked in surprise. If you want to surpass Hyuga Hazuki, do as I say, otherwise you will never be able to surpass him. Tsunade charged the way. Beyond Hyuga Hazuki, Naoki thought of today's failure. He clenched his fists and shouted. Okay, just practice until the early morning, Naoki will definitely surpass him, definitely. After the roar, Naoki plunged into chakra's practice with determination. While watching Tsunade during the whole process, it was a bit surprising, and I was curious about the kid named Hyuga Hazuki in my heart. What kind of person is he? It's a surprise that Naoki has changed so much. Tsunade murmured, deciding to meet this Hyuga Hazuki sometime. Time passed bit by bit, and soon came the next day. In the early morning, the sun shines on the earth, bringing vitality to all things. Countless students walked to school in the morning light to start their day of study. Kushina came to the school early, then stood at the door of the class and waited quietly. She decides to meet Hazuki at the door of the class and check Hazuki's wrist when he enters the door to prove if he is a big brother. If Hazuki doesn't let her check her wrist, or relies on her powerful strength to avoid her checking, then Hazuki has a very high chance of being a big brother, and it is even possible that he is a big brother. With this thought in mind, Kushina waited silently, waiting for Hazuki to appear. 17 Close black lens bracket love letter. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Yawn. Hazuki stretched and walked lazily down the street, thinking about the future Hokage plot in his mind. Now this time period is a relatively peaceful time period in the ninja world. The Second Ninja World War has not yet started, and the whole world is in a state of accumulating strength. But according to Hazuki's speculation, when he was about to graduate, the Second Ninja World War was about to begin, and at that time, these students might have to go to the battlefield. Because even direct members like Naoki would appear on the battlefield and even die in battle, so they probably won't be much better. Of course, Naoki's death in the future, Hazuki always feels a little confusing. It seems that there is a black hand behind everything, but Naoki's death also proves the cruelty of the ninja world. So Hazuki has to prepare for possible future dangers, protect those he wants to protect, and even prepare for the inevitable conflict. There are still several years of preparation time. During this time, we can improve our strength as soon as possible. Only in this way can we calmly deal with the Second Ninja World War. Hazuki said secretly, while calling up the data panel to check his status. Ding. Hyuga Hazuki. Beginner Sage Body. Attributes. Yang, Wind, Fire, Thunder, Earth. Talent. Excellent. Template. 5% Saitama template, 5/5 times. Comments. He looks like a little boy, but he is actually a big devil who destroys the world. Advertisement. Sure enough, the Saitama template has been restored to 5 times, which is not bad. It's okay to wave again. Hazuki secretly said, it was such a joy in his heart, and he didn't even recognize his 6 relatives when he walked. The other side of the road. Nara Shikahisa, Yamanaka Kaiichi, and Akamaiki Dingza were walking slowly down the street. Shuju. Dingza, look, that's Hazuki. Yamanaka Kaiichi pointed to Hazuki on the road and hurriedly reminded. Is he the Hazuki who beat you yesterday? He looks so arrogant, even walking so arrogantly. Nara Shikahisa glanced at Hazuki and said. I just don't know if I have any real skills. It's nothing to throw at me. What really works is ninjutsu and taijutsu. Akamaiki Dingza replied. Kunai throwing is only the basics. With such a little strength, you will be complacent, and your future achievements will not be too high. Nara Shikuhisa commented lightly. He has seen a lot of battles, even Jonin-level battles, and he doesn't like Hazuki's complacency. He even thought that someone like Hazuki would not be able to do anything in the future, so he turned his head to look at Yamanaka Kaiichi. Ignore this Hazuki, your target should be Namikaze Minato. This person is very unusual, he will definitely be a strong opponent in the future, and of course a good partner, so you have to bet in advance, understand? Namikaze Minato. Are you sure? Yamanaka Kaiichi looked at Nara Shikahisa suspiciously. Of course, I can easily analyze Namikaze Minato's extraordinariness with my mind, so you should target him to improve your strength. Nara Shikahisa said lightly, looking like an analytical genius. I see. No wonder Mr. Jiraiya has contact with Namikaze Minato. So Mr. Jiraiya is optimistic about Namikaze Minato. Yamanaka Kaiichi suddenly realized. Of course, Lord Jiraiya is likely to take Namikaze Minato as his apprentice, so his future is limitless. Nara Shikahisa continued to analyze, and glanced at Hazuki in front of him, and Namikaze Minato who appeared from the side street. Look at Hyuga Hazuki and Namikaze Minato, they are very different even in appearance and temperament. For example, Namikaze Minato belongs to the sunny and handsome type, has a strong affinity and is very popular. And Hazuki is different. You can see that he looks like a cold little boy, and even has a faint domineering atmosphere. Such people are not popular and have very few friends. Do you understand? Advertisement. Nara Shikahisa continued to analyze, and he commented on Namikaze Minato and Hazuki in a straightforward manner, which is somewhat reasonable. Understood. Completely understood. Yamanaka nodded, looking like he was being taught. That's when they came to the school gate and saw a cute senior girl. Huh, look, what a cute girl with such a small face. Akamaiki Dingza pointed at the school gate. It's pretty cute, and she still has a ponytail. At first glance, she looks like a beautiful girl with youthful vitality. Yamanaka Kaiichi's eyes were hot, but when he saw the girl running towards Namikaze Minato, he was in a bad mood. Shiku, you're right, Namikaze Minato is really popular. Yamanaka Kaiichi envied. This girl's name is Nana. Many people like her and pursue her, but unfortunately they are all rejected. Sure enough, my analysis is good. Even such a beautiful girl is still attracted by Namikaze Minato. Nara Lukisa said lightly, but for some reason, she was a little sad, as if she was eating dog food. I don't know if the three of us can meet such a good thing as being pursued by a beautiful girl. Akamaiki Dingza shook his head helplessly. Yamanaka Kaiichi and Nara Shikahisa didn't speak, just glanced at Akamaiki Dingza's body, and hurriedly took 2 steps. They worry about saying something, and the boat of friendship capsizes. Hello, are you Namikaze Minato? A crisp voice came, as sweet as a lark. I am, may I ask you? Namikaze Minato was puzzled, looking at the pink envelope that the beautiful girl was holding. Her heart couldn't help beating a little bit more, and she faintly felt that something was going to happen. Hello, my name is Nina, can you do me a favor? Nina asked shyly. Advertisement. What are you busy with? Namikaze Minato gave a sunny smile. Can you help me and pass this letter to Hazuki-kun? The beautiful girl asked. What? To Hyuga Hazuki? Namikaze Minato froze, his mind a little empty. Ino Shika-cho next to him was also stunned, staring at the beautiful girl in a daze, their minds even more empty. Why? Why let me hand it over, isn't he over there? You can give it to him yourself. Namikaze Minato rolled his eyes twice, trying to keep a smile. I'm sorry. The beautiful girl replied shyly. But why me? Hazuki and I don't have a good relationship. Namikaze Minato explained in tears, with a complicated mood. Isn't it okay? Yesterday I saw Hazuki-kun chatting with you, and I thought you were on good terms. The beautiful girl was stunned, and gradually put away her smile. It turns out that the relationship is not good. Yesterday, Hazuki-kun called you a sissy, so it wasn't a joke. Then I'd better stay away from you, lest Hazuki-kun misunderstand. The beautiful girl muttered, turned and ran in Hazuki's direction. Namikaze Minato took a deep breath and tried to suppress the depression in his heart, but why did that sissy look so harsh? Hazuki-kun, I'm sorry to bother you, but, can I accept this? A sweet voice came, causing everyone to watch. But Namikaze Minato, Ino Shikacho, and the others, were so cold in their hearts that they even wanted to hit the wall in depression. Luhisa, I think it's time for you to eat walnuts. Yamanakahai said. Why? Walnuts nourish the brain. Nara Shikahisa. Open black lens bracket 18 close black lens bracket all attributes. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At the gate of the lively ninja school, the children, accompanied by adults, quietly watched the scene, waiting for Hazuki's choice. A beautiful girl like Nana is definitely the object of countless people's pursuit, and now she is bravely sending a love letter to Hazuki, which is indeed worthy of blessing. Hazuki-kun, please accept it. The beautiful girl looked at Hazuki timidly with a shy look, and then handed out the pink envelope in her small hand. That lark-like voice reverberated at the gate of the school and in everyone's heart. Countless people watched this scene and talked a lot, some blessed, some envied, but more people were jealous. Such a cute girl, such a youthful and energetic girl, even fell in love with Hazuki, a cold little boy, they were not jealous. Hey, Hazuki is so lucky that such a lovely girl Nana confessed to him, but I am so envious of me. Isn't it true? Isn't Hazuki just handsome? What's the big deal? Is he as strong as me? By the way, Namikaze Minato is pretty handsome, why does Nana like Hazuki? Yes. The trio of Ino Shikacho kept complaining, envy, jealousy, and hatred in their hearts, but unfortunately there was nothing to do with jealousy, so they could only helplessly watch the scene in front of them. What do you know? Hazuki is so attractive, cold, domineering, strong, and most importantly, handsome. A Madara girl retorted. Yeah, Namikaze Minato looks like a sissy, how can Hazuki have a personality? Another girl agreed. Ino Shikacho was a little confused, and vaguely understood something. It turns out that girls like this, weird things. Nara Lukisa couldn't believe it, but the fact was in front of him, and he could only accept his fate. Although he was still unconvinced in his heart, it was still a pity for such a beautiful girl, but he felt that he could imitate Hazuki's aloof appearance. Hazuki-kun, can you please accept it? Nana said again, holding the pink envelope in her two little hands. Advertisement. Ding. Please choose. 1. Accept the love letter from the spy girl Nana. Reward. Water attribute. 2. Reject the love letter from the spy girl Nana. Reward. Taiju Grandmaster. 3. Rejected loudly. You are too ugly. If that girl Tsunade sends me a love letter, I can reluctantly consider it. Reward. Water attribute plus Taiju Grandmaster. Hazuki looked at the god-level option and glanced at the beautiful girl in front of him in surprise. He didn't expect that the girl was actually a spy. But Hazuki didn't bother to pay attention to these things, instead thinking about which one to choose. To be honest, the reward of the third item is very good, not only adding an attribute, but also obtaining a Grandmaster of Taijutsu, which is definitely a rare reward. But Hazuki also understands the consequences. If he says this in public, it won't take long for Tsunade to know about it, and I'm afraid he will be miserable by then. That violent woman might beat him up, and by then he might be embarrassed. Hazuki hesitated, but he felt sorry for not eating such a good reward. After 2 seconds of silence, Hazuki still chose the third option. After all, compared with strength, even facing Tsunade, a violent woman, is worth it. Hazuki-kun, please accept it. The sweet voice came again, and the warm girl sent a love letter to Hazuki again in front of everyone's eyes. This scene saw countless people envy, jealous and hate. But, under everyone's attention, Hazuki said indifferently, I refuse. Rejection. Why? Am I not good looking? The girl's doubtful voice echoed, which also attracted the attention of many students. Ino Shikacho and Namikaze Minato, among others, looked at Hazuki strangely, waiting for his answer. Advertisement. You're so ugly. If that girl Tsunade sends me a love letter, I might consider it. The words fall. Hazuki bypassed the beautiful girl and walked straight to the school, leaving countless people in a mess in the wind. Missed slot. To say that beautiful girls are ugly, Hazuki's eyes are too high. Nima, if it were me, I would definitely agree at the first time, and I wouldn't refuse if I kill you. People are more popular than dead people, such a good girl, why doesn't Hazuki like it? Several students around, including Ino Shikacho, were reluctant to believe their ears. Because the contrast is too great. The sweet girl they couldn't even beg for was rejected by Hazuki, and she was called too ugly. The gap was so big that they thought they were dreaming. Damn, I'll never walk with this Hazuki again. Nara Shikuku was powerless to complain. Why? Akamaiki Dingza asked in hindsight. Because I don't want to eat dog food, and I don't want to be attacked by Hazuki. She is so beautiful, but he is so ugly. This is really annoying. Yamanaka Kaiichi clenched his fists in depression, feeling very uncomfortable. That girl was so beautiful. Yamanaka Kaiichi asked himself that he couldn't refuse this girl, but Hazuki not only refused, but also said it so heartlessly, which made Yamanaka Kaiichi feel that the gap between himself and Hazuki was unimaginable. Damn Hazuki, your eyes are too high. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for choosing the third item. Reward. Water attribute plus physique grandmaster. Close black lens bracket. Inside the school hallway, Hazuki, who was walking, stopped and silently felt the warm current roaming around him. Advertisement. The huge amount of combat knowledge poured into his mind, which made his physical skills improve by leaps and bounds, and the strength of the whole person improved a little in this short period of time. It's a really good improvement. In this way, I have already obtained 6 kinds of attributes. If I get one more kind of attributes, don't I have all the attributes? Hazuki's eyes lit up, with a little anticipation in his heart. Ding. Master, when you get all the attributes, you can integrate into the Sage Body and upgrade the Sage Body from the primary to the intermediate Sage Body. The system suddenly said mechanically. It's still possible. Great. Hazuki's eyes flashed with surprise, and he made up his mind that he must trigger the God level selection and upgrade his Sage Body to the intermediate level as soon as possible. After all, the primary Sage Body consumes its own vitality to treat others like Shang Phosphorus, and the healing to itself is very small. Even when treating others, it is equivalent to losing vitality, resulting in slow healing of tooth marks, and if it is upgraded to the intermediate level, it will definitely speed up the healing of the wound. Thinking of this, Hazuki walked quickly to his classroom, while scanning the surroundings, looking for the plot characters. Hazuki, wait a minute. Arriving at the door of the classroom, Hazuki was blocked by a small figure. She was the Whirlpool Kushina. At this moment, she was standing at the door of the classroom like a little sister, staring at Hazuki with burning eyes. What's wrong? Hazuki asked, raising his eyebrows in confusion. It's all right, let's go in. Kushina wanted to say something, but Zhang Shaoxuan gave up in the end. Then he secretly mobilized all of his strength, ready to wait for the opportunity, and checked Hazuki's wrist. Ding. Please choose. 1. Go directly back to the classroom. Reward. Yin attribute. 2. Turn around and leave the school. Reward. Fire style great fireball technique. 3. Quickly kiss Kushina. Reward. Yin attribute plus a small amount of chakra. Open black lens bracket 19 close black lens bracket intermediate fairy. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Looking at the god level choice that suddenly appeared, Hazuki frowned slightly. It is naturally a good thing to have a god level choice, but the choice of the last item seems to be a bit bad. After all, Uzumaki Kushina is just a little girl. If he kissed her, it would be too much for her. With this in mind, Hazuki decided not to choose item 3, but set his sights on item 1. The reward of item 1 is also yin attribute. Anyway, he just lacks 1 yin attribute. As long as he collects all 7 attributes, the extra chakra can be given up. So Hazuki decided to start choosing. It's just at this moment, 2 small white and tender hands grabbed his arm like lightning, and the speed was so fast that it was impossible for ordinary people to escape. But who is Hazuki? After several physical enhancements and the acquisition of chakra, his strength has been unprecedentedly improved. Although he can't compare with powerful ninjas, it is very simple to stop Kushina. But Hazuki also remembered the small teeth marks on his arm, and now the girl suspects him, which is not a good thing for Hazuki, because it will disrupt his promotion plan. After all, Hazuki didn't want to be shattered when he was able to steadily improve his strength. So he decided to dispel the girl's doubts, or postpone her doubts. Then there is only one person who can do this at this stage, that is. Ha! A slight voice came, and he glanced at Kushina, who was in a dazed state, turned his head and walked into the corridor, heading out of the school. All that was left was Kushina in a sluggish state, and a quiet classroom where needles could be heard. F.A. What happened? Kushina modeled her own little face and stood at the door blankly, her whole body in a dumb state. Advertisement. The warmth on the side face and the increasingly hot little ears made her brain empty. But her heart, which was beating faster and faster, told her that Hazuki had done too much to her just now. In the classroom, a dozen or so students who came earlier looked at Hazuki, who was leaving, in disbelief, and then looked at Kushina. Obviously, I just saw Kushina chatting with Hazuki, but in a blink of an eye, Hazuki kissed Kushina, which was really unexpected. But everyone knows that there is big news today. As the most famous Hazuki in the class, his every move naturally attracts people's attention. Now that Hazuki suddenly kissed Kushina, thinking of the scene where Hazuki helped Kushina come out yesterday, the students quickly came to a conclusion that Hazuki likes Kushina. This kind of affair between men and women in the school ignited the hearts of all 8 trigrams in an instant. Oh my god, Hazuki kissed Kushina, that's a blast. It turns out that Hazuki helped Kushina get ahead yesterday, because he likes Kushina at all. Yes, it's really surprising. As the students spoke, their gazes towards Kushina became meaningful. Some were watching the excitement, but some little girls were faintly envious. After all, Hazuki is not an ordinary person, and he is very lucky to be liked by him. But Kushina didn't think so. Her consciousness gradually recovered from the empty state, and then she noticed the strange eyes of the students in the class, and suddenly felt hot on her face, and the little pepper-like temper instantly exploded. Hyuga Hazuki, you stop me. Kushina let out a coquettish cry of anger, and ran after her with little feet. I was going to see the small teeth marks on Hazuki's arm, but I forgot about it. She just wanted to bite Hazuki a few times and let Hazuki know the consequences of kissing her. It's a pity that she was too dazed just now, and didn't remember the direction Hazuki was going, so she chased around and didn't find him, so she could only go back to the classroom depressed. Advertisement. But at this time, Kushina suddenly felt that something was wrong. She clearly planned to check Hazuki's wrist, but why did it suddenly turn out like this? Doubts emerged in his heart. Kushina frowned in thought, vaguely aware of something. HMPH, when you come back, no matter what you do to me, I must see it first, for sure. The other side. School entrance. Hazuki stood silently, waiting for Makoto, who had not yet come to the academy. There was no Uchiha Makoto in the classroom just now, which is one of the reasons why he did something blatantly bad, and he decided to take Makoto to skip class and ask Makoto's work questions by the way. It is said that this girl works for people on weekends to earn living expenses, which is a little too hard for her weekend week, so Hazuki plans to find a way to make money, and the two of them make money together. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item, rewarding yin attribute plus a small amount of chakra. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the owner for getting all the attributes. Is it integrated into the sage body to improve the level of the sage body? Certainly. Hazuki nodded without hesitation. To be able to improve the sage body, the previous efforts are worth it. After all, the advantages of the sage body are still very strong. Like Senju Hashirama's sage body, it is just like a hang-up. Open black lens bracket ding. The fusion is successful. Congratulations to the owner's sage body for reaching the intermediate level. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Hyuga Hazuki. Intermediate sage body. Talent. Excellent. Template. 5% Saitama template, 5/5 times. Comments. He looks like a little boy, but he is actually a big devil who destroys the world. Advertisement. Feeling the warm current all over his body, Hazuki's eyes flashed with light. I don't know how much stronger the intermediate sage body is than the junior sage body. The junior sage body is similar to fragrant phosphorus and can heal other people's injuries, so what about the intermediate one? Hazuki was a little curious, but it was not convenient to test it now, because under his eyes, the girl Makoto was walking slowly. Hazuki, big brother, why are you here? A soft and glutinous voice came, with surprise and a hint of curiosity in the voice. Following this voice, a small figure came running, bringing a fragrant wind. Makoto, go and skip class with me. Hazuki looked at Makoto in front of him, and regardless of whether she agreed or not, he took her little hand and walked towards the commercial street. Skipping class. Makoto was a little dazed, and staggered along with Hazuki, his little head full of goo. Hazuki, big brother, why did you skip class? Makoto finally responded and asked suspiciously. Hazuki didn't explain it. After all, his previous behavior was a bit excessive, and someone would definitely make irresponsible remarks, but Hazuki didn't regret it. And the character of this girl, Makoto, he was so stubborn that he accepted her sooner or later, so he stared at Makoto forcefully and said, it's nothing, you just need to obey me, understand? Makoto wanted to say something, but when he met Hazuki's eyes, he was defeated immediately, and finally nodded his head obediently. I know. That's good. Seeing Makoto's well-behaved appearance, Hazuki asked his previous doubts. By the way, Makoto, I heard that you are working part-time. What kind of work do you do? Open black lens bracket 20 close black lens bracket teach cooking. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I work in a restaurant, mainly responsible for the logistics of the kitchen. Makoto explained in a low voice, looking very embarrassed. Logistics. Hazuki frowned when he heard that. He knew that the logistical work he was in charge of was cutting and garnishing vegetables. If the restaurant was small, he would also be responsible for washing dishes, which was harder than he imagined. Hazuki didn't want Makoto to do this kind of work because he was too tired. Hazuki, big brother, will you look down on me? Makoto was a little worried. After all, doing such a low-level job would easily be discriminated against. In the past, she didn't care about other people's opinions, but for some reason, she cared about Hazuki's opinions and was afraid of making Hazuki unhappy. I don't know when this feeling came about. In short, she had these worries unknowingly. Silly girl, what are you thinking about? What's wrong with relying on your own abilities to support yourself? In my opinion, it's an advantage. Hazuki rubbed Makoto's little head. Really? Makoto's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he looked at Hazuki with wide eyes and hope, and his expression was full of joy. Of course, but the logistics is more difficult, I have to think of a way to make money. Hazuki said thoughtfully. Hazuki, big brother, in fact, it's good for you to teach me how to cook. The food you cook is better than the chef in the store. I really want to learn from you. Makoto said with a smile, with starlight in his big eyes. Ding. Please choose. 1. Continue to teach Uchiha Makoto cooking. Bonus. Fire style balsam technique. 2. Refuse to continue teaching Uchiha Makoto. Reward. Seal of the 5 elements. 3. Order Uchiha Makoto to resign. Reward. 8 trigrams 16 palms plus a small amount of chakra. What? Advertisement. The sound of the system in his head made Hazuki let out a groan, and his eyes flashed with surprise. It's just that the normal chat triggers the God level choice again, which is very lucky. But looking at the content of the God level selection, Hazuki was depressed, because the last item, 8 trigrams 16 palms, was a simplified version of 8 trigrams 32 palms, and he knew it long ago. Helpless, Hazuki gave up the third item and chose the first item directly. Open black lens bracket ding. The selection is complete, please complete the task as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Ignoring the system's beep, Hazuki turned to look at Uchiha Makoto. Go to my house, I will continue to teach you how to cook. When you learn it, let's open a restaurant, and then you will be the chef. Chef. Can I really? Makoto looked timidly at Hazuki. Of course, with the people I taught Hazuki, it's easy to be a chef. Well, people must study hard and work hard. With Hazuki's encouragement, Makoto's self-confidence expanded, and the whole person seemed to be rejuvenated, becoming more confident and calm. At the same time, she secretly made up her mind that when she learns to cook, she must cook a sumptuous dinner for Hazuki and thank him. The girl is gone. Let's go buy the ingredients first. Hazuki nodded at Makoto's head. Okay. Looking at Makoto so well behaved, Hazuki put his hand in front of Makoto and stared at her like a torch. Girl, take my hand. Ah, oh. Makoto hesitated for 2 seconds, a blush appeared on his small face, and then put his slender hand in Hazuki's big hand. The next second, her small hand was clenched tightly by a big hand, and a feeling of warmth came from her skin instantly. Feeling Hazuki's warm big hand, Makoto's little face became more and more rosy, almost dripping blood, but living alone and lonely for a long time, she was so at ease and warm at this moment. Advertisement. After her family passed away, no one cared about her and helped her. Even as a Uchiha family, she worked for ordinary people, but was laughed at and looked down upon. All this changed completely until he met Hazuki. This handsome Hazuki big brother, although Gao Leng was domineering, never looked at her with hostility, and even helped her. You must know that as the Uchiha clan, even ordinary people in Konoha looked at her with hostile eyes, not to mention the Hyuga clan as a big family. But Hazuki, as a genius of the Hyuga family, treats her equally, which surprised Makoto, and Hazuki became her first best friend. But this Hazuki big brother is really domineering, he always treats her aggressively, so she has no choice but to do as the master asks. However, it seems to feel pretty good. Next, the two walked together, bought a lot of ingredients and returned to Hazuki's home, where they began to teach cooking. Time passed slowly, and soon it was evening. After studying for a day, Makoto left because he was going to work in a restaurant. Only Hazuki went back to the living room and waited for the task to be completed. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the first item. Reward. Fire style impatience technique. Close black lens bracket. It's another ninjutsu. Not bad, and the next step is to experiment with the difference between the intermediate sage body and the beginner sage body. Hazuki muttered to himself, thinking about the vitality contained in the sage body. For example, Xianglin's sage body should give her own vitality to others, so she will leave so many tooth marks on her body. Now that he has reached the intermediate sage body, his vitality has improved by leaps and bounds, and it must be much stronger than the primary sage body. So Hazuki took out Kuu on the belly of his finger with anticipation, and with a light stroke, a wound appeared in an instant, but the wound actually stopped bleeding and healed in a short period of time, and it recovered as before. This recovery speed, although not as fast as Senju Hashirama, also gave Hazuki a lot of confidence. Really good healing speed, Hazuki murmured, looking at his flawless hands, and now he doesn't have to worry about revealing his physique anymore. By the way, if someone bites my arm, they can still know the secret of my sage body. The girl like Kushina has a very pungent character, but be careful when she bites me. Hazuki murmured. Commercial Street. Chunsai Restaurant. Advertisement. Makoto frowned, looking at the scene in the restaurant, silently looking at it. Say, who put this grilled fish in the back kitchen last night? The store owner Chun Kai said loudly, and glanced at several staff in the store. It's not me, I left early yesterday. It's not me. I didn't buy any fish yesterday. Someone should have brought this grilled fish in. It's Makoto. I bought some materials last night and asked her to bring it to the store. I guess she left the fish here. Makoto. The store owner, Haruna, turned to look at Makoto in the corner, and said in surprise, is it your grilled fish? Yes, it is. Makoto was a little flustered, and vaguely felt that there might be an accident. It seemed that last month's salary had not yet been paid. Where did you buy your grilled fish? Why haven't I seen this grilled fish? Chun Kai continued, her brows already furrowed. I didn't buy it, I baked it. The fish wasn't from the store, it was caught from the river. Makoto whispered. Did you bake? Are you sure? Haruna continued, walking quickly to Makoto, staring straight at Makoto. Yes, I just forgot to take it with me, are you going to fire me? Can you give me last month's salary? Makoto asked softly. Wage. Humph. Haruna snorted coldly, stared at Makoto and said, the grilled fish is so delicious, but it's not interesting to hide it. In the future, you will be full-time grilled fish, and your salary will be doubled, how about it? How about your grilled fish? It's delicious, I accidentally finished it. Finished eating. Makoto was stunned for 2 seconds, his little head a little confused. Yeah, it's so delicious, I've finished eating it accidentally, how about you grill fish every day in the future? Chunsai boss continued. I have to ask someone to agree, otherwise I can't agree. Makoto firmly said. Why? Chunsai was puzzled, and the other employees in the store were equally at a loss. Because. Open black lens bracket 21 close black lens bracket lion head. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It must be approved by Hazuki Big Brother. Makoto said with a tight face. Hazuki Big Brother. Why? Everyone wondered who the Hazuki Big Brother was. Because grilled fish was taught to me by Hazuki Big Brother. Makoto said with big eyes and admiration. It turned out to be so, it seems that this Hazuki Big Brother is very powerful. Boss Haruna praised. Of course, Hazuki Big Brother can not only grill fish, but also cook a lot of delicious food. It's amazing. Makoto said proudly with his small head raised. Do you still cook a lot of food? It's better than grilled fish. Chunsai was shocked, and faintly saw the opportunity for the restaurant to expand. Of course, Hazuki Big Brother is excellent. He is the most powerful person in our class. Makoto said happily, feeling more and more proud. It seems that the better Hazuki is, the happier she is. Hazuki Big Brother is from your class. Isn't he a kid? Is the food he cooks really so delicious? Is it possible that he can only grill fish and can't cook other delicacies? After all, he is just a child. Someone in the store questioned, worried that Makoto was being deceived. I even questioned Hazuki Big Brother. Hazuki Big Brother taught me several dishes. Now I will cook one for you to try. You will know how good Hazuki Big Brother is. You are not allowed to come to the kitchen. After Makoto finished speaking, he ran into the kitchen and closed the door behind him. People in the store were very curious about Makoto's cooking process, but they didn't dare to enter the kitchen rashly. After all, stealing a teacher is a big no-no. Helpless, they can only wait silently with their heads up. After a long time, a good smell came from the kitchen, which was fragrant and appetizing. Squeak. The door was pushed open, and Makoto came out wearing a small apron with a plate of fragrant food. Advertisement. It's so fragrant. What kind of food is this? It's chubby. The people in the store looked at Makoto suspiciously like a curious baby. This is a braised lion head. Due to the lack of materials, I only made this one. Makoto said a little arrogantly. Meatball with soy sauce. The owner of the restaurant, Chunsai, was a little dazed. She had never heard of the name of the restaurant for so many years. Out of curiosity, Chunsai took some lion heads and tasted it carefully. Originally, she was a little worried that the taste was not good, but after tasting it a little, her eyes lit up, and her mouth was filled with a strong fragrance, which was very, very delicious. It's delicious, it's really delicious, you can try it. The owner of the store, Chun Kai, praised. I'll try it. I'll try it too. A group of people started tasting with chopsticks, followed by exclamations. Delicious, so delicious. It's better than ramen. I thought ramen was the best food, but I didn't expect this lion's head to be much better than ramen. Yes, yes, yes. People admired and feasted, and quickly ate a plate of lion heads. At this time, they remembered the Hazuki Big Brother Makoto said. According to Makoto, all her cooking skills come from this Hazuki Big Brother, which is enough to prove that this Hazuki Big Brother's cooking skills are very good. Makoto, is your Hazuki Big Brother a chef? Boss Haruna asked suspiciously. Advertisement. No, Hazuki Big Brother prefers cooking. These dishes are all created by him, but they are amazing, but they are a bit domineering. Makoto's face turned red when he thought of Hazuki's big brother holding her hand. Makoto, is your Hazuki Big Brother willing to open a restaurant? We can work together and make a lot of money. The owner of Chunsai hoped. Cooperation. Makoto was stunned, thinking that Hazuki Big Brother had mentioned making money. She nodded and said, I will ask Hazuki Big Brother tomorrow, but Hazuki Big Brother is domineering, I don't know if he will agree. Just do your best, it's fine. Boss Chunsai comforted her softly, but her expression showed that she hoped to succeed. Next, the restaurant got busy. But the attitude of the boss of Haruna towards Makoto is that she is kind. She doesn't let her do any hard work, just let her direct the work. just like she wants to train Makoto to become a manager. As for the rest of the staff, they all complimented Makoto, which was a world of difference from before. Makoto is for you. I didn't treat you well before, so don't take it to heart. Yeah, Makoto, this is for you as well. I have been offended in the past. It's all my fault. I can't accompany you anymore. The two aunties in the back kitchen kept apologizing to Makoto, and their attitude was low. It's okay. It's all work, it's okay. Uchiha Makoto said with a smile, admiring Hazuki even more in his heart. In the past, she was actually very hard in the back kitchen, and the work she took on was very heavy. It was normal for her to be assigned more work by people with senior qualifications. But now, Hazuki Big Brother just taught her a little bit of cooking skills, which instantly raised her status and made everyone in the store respect her, even the owner of the store was a serious attitude. This kind of change made Makoto deeply appreciate the extraordinariness of Hazuki Big Brother, and the ability revealed in the details can be amazing. Hazuki Big Brother, what kind of person are you? Makoto said secretly, becoming more and more curious and admiring this Hazuki Big Brother. Advertisement. The next morning. The sun shines on the earth, bringing vitality to all things. Hazuki got up early and started morning practice with gentle fist and 8 trigrams palms, but before the practice was over, a shadowy figure had come to the door of his small courtyard. Then the figure stood quietly at the door, as if not daring to knock on the door. Squeak. The courtyard door was opened, and Hazuki came to the door and looked out at Makoto. At this moment, she was holding her little hand timidly, her little face was tense, and she looked tangled. Why didn't you knock on the door when the girl came? Hazuki stared at Makoto's big eyes. Well, I'm afraid of disturbing Hazuki Big Brother's practice, and... Makoto hesitated, not knowing whether to talk about yesterday's incident. And what? Hazuki stepped forward, staring at Makoto forcefully. Well, I went to work last night and happened to meet. Makoto was a little flustered by Hazuki, maybe because he was afraid that Hazuki would get angry. He hurriedly poured out all the information he knew like a bean. It turns out that this is the case, this is also a good route. Hazuki said quietly, thinking about how to choose. Ding. Please choose. 1. Start your own business. Do not cooperate with others. Reward. Healing. 2. Promise cooperation and accumulate wealth as quickly as possible. Reward. Wind-style great breakthrough. 3. Refuse to cooperate. Assassinate rich people. Steal their wealth. Reward. Healing plus a small amount of chakra. The mechanical voice sounded in his mind. Hazuki's consciousness swept through the 3 options, and he already made a decision in his heart. Then he said silently, I choose the first. Open black lens bracket 22 close black lens bracket have a personality. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I choose. Wait, I'll choose later. I prefer the second, but I have to talk to the shop owner. Hazuki secretly said. The reason why I want to choose the second option is that although the assassination of the rich can get a lot of wealth, the money cannot be used openly, and it is easy to cause suspicion and even investigation. Although Hazuki is not afraid of any investigation or any enemy, he doesn't want to be too troublesome. After all, his purpose is to improve his strength and enjoy life. There is no need to make things too extreme. In addition, in cooperation with other people, you can directly invest in technology without paying money, and you can cooperate for a long time. It is still very good. Of course, how to cooperate needs to be discussed. Girl, take me to Chunsai restaurant, I'll talk to your boss. Hazuki stared at Makoto. Okay, that. Are we not going to class? Makoto asked after hesitating for 2 seconds. Don't go, keep truancy. Hazuki said indifferently. Okay. Makoto is a good girl. Although she thinks it's wrong to skip class, she doesn't dare to question Hazuki's decision, so she can only nod her head obediently. Gone. Hazuki grabbed Makoto's soft little hand domineeringly, and left the house in her staggering steps, heading for the spring vegetable restaurant. The other side. Ninja school. Kushina sat silently in the classroom, her little head looking out the door from time to time, waiting for Hazuki to appear, but she didn't see Hazuki until the class. Advertisement. Helpless, Kushina could only pouting and sulking. I won't give up. Never. Kushina clenched her fists secretly, making up her mind to make sure that Hazuki is her big brother. Spring vegetable restaurant. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the second item and rewarding wind style great breakthrough. Close black lens bracket. Listening to the mechanical voice in his head, Hazuki calmly received the relevant ninjutsu knowledge, and at the same time continued to discuss cooperation matters with the boss of Haruna. After 2 hours of negotiation, the two sides finally concluded the negotiation, and on the whole they were happy. Because Hazuki got 51% of the share, and Chunsai got 49% of the share, normally such a ratio should not occur, because Chunsai suffered too much. After all, she contributed money and people, and the planning and operation of the store belonged to her, but she only got 49%, which is a bit too little. But don't forget, this is the world of ninjas, and under many bright and beautiful appearances, there are also countless darkness hidden. Normally, the owner of Chunsai would not dare to open the store too big, because it would attract a lot of people's peeps. If there were ninjas making trouble, she really didn't dare to offend her too much, she could only save money and avoid disaster. Now that I have cooperated with Hazuki, this aspect has been improved, which is equivalent to finding a protective umbrella, and I no longer have to be afraid. After all, behind Hazuki is the Hyuga family, and ordinary civilians and ninjas do not want to provoke such a big family. Coupled with Hazuki's technology investment, it is normal to take 51% of the shares. Therefore, the two parties signed a contract to officially change the name of Chunsai Restaurant to Hazuki Hotel. Well, it's not a fancy name, but it was a rare suggestion from Makoto, and Hazuki went with her. In the next 2 days, Hazuki started busy in the store, cultivating the cooking skills of Makoto and spring vegetables, and the food that had never appeared before also greatly improved the business of the whole store. After everything was settled, Hazuki looked at the thriving shop, nodded in satisfaction, turned around and left for the ninja school. Advertisement. I have been absent from class for the past 2 days, but the teacher is very anxious. As a gifted student in the class, Hazuki is very valued by this teacher, so the teacher has approached him several times in 2 days. This is not. The woman next to her who kept nagging was none other than Hazuki's teacher Yako. Okay. Don't say it, teacher. I understand, I'll go to school right away. Hazuki rubbed his temples helplessly. To be honest, even if Mr. Yazi didn't look for him, he would go back to school. Because the God level selection has been triggered once in the past 2 days, even though Hazuki has encountered many plot characters in the store, the God level selection has not been triggered, which is very strange. Hazuki suspects it might have something to do with ninja school, which seems to increase the chance of triggering a God level choice. Why is this happening? Is it because the ninja school is involved in more plots? Then Hokage Rock, Hokage office should also increase the chances. Doubts arose in Hazuki's heart, but he didn't get an answer until Hazuki passed by the Hokage office building and saw a woman, or rather a young and beautiful super beauty. The golden twintails, the exquisite and beautiful jade face, and the fiery body, every bit is like a magnet, attracting Hazuki's attention. Young Tsunade. Hazuki glanced at Tsunade's stunning face, graceful body, and terrifying presence that was bulging beyond 36D. I have to say that such a top-notch beauty is definitely rare in the world, and now she is also the youngest and most elegant age. Tsunade like this is really attractive, but Jiraiya and Orochimaru next to Tsunade also made Hazuki squinted. Because the three of them looked like they were fully armed, they seemed to be carrying out important tasks. Hazuki is a little strange about their mission, but it's unknown. Ding. Please choose. Advertisement. 1. Praise Tsunade-ji's good-looking face. Reward. Hemostasis. 2. Praise Tsunade-ji's good-looking figure. Reward. Healing. 3. Point to Tsunade-ji and say to his face, "This girl is not bad." Reward. Hemostasis plus healing plus 10% increase in stamina. The sudden appearance of the god-level choice made Hazuki stunned for a moment, and then he turned to look at the Hokage building next to him, and he vaguely understood something in his heart. But now the most important thing is to make a choice, and among the 3 choices in front of him, Hazuki chose the third option without hesitation. The enhancement of physical fitness is very important to Hazuki, because the higher the physical fitness, the more difficult it will be. The current 10% will definitely improve Hazuki's physical fitness by a large amount. Such a task is worth doing. So, Hazuki came to Tsunade, staring at her with burning eyes. And his strange behavior also caught Tsunade's attention. Fortunately, Hazuki is handsome and has a special temperament. The appearance of that aloof little boy is also curious. What's your name, little brother? The crisp voice came into his ears. Hazuki glanced at Tsunade, who was talking, and instead of answering her, he pointed at her and said loudly in front of everyone's eyes. This girl is nice. After saying this, Hazuki left without waiting for Tsunade to react, and took Mr. Yako away. Only Tsunade was left in place, messed up in the wind. Are all brats like that these days? Tsunade couldn't help laughing and laughing. She wasn't angry, but thought Hazuki was very interesting. It's really a little devil with a personality. I didn't notice such a person before. Orochimaru said. People in Konoha call you Princess Tsunade, but this kid actually calls you a girl, which is really funny. Jiraiya shook his head with a laugh. 23. Good people are bullied. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Tsunade looked at Hazuki, who was leaving, and wanted to chat with him. He pinched his cold little face and let him know that calling his girl would have serious consequences. However, their mission is very important and must not be delayed, so the three of them left Konoha with dignity and speed. The other side. Mr. Yako looked at Hazuki in shock. His mind was full of slurries. The reason for her shock is that Tsunade's status is very high in Konoha, and many people respect her as Tsunade Haim, which means Princess Tsunade. But Hazuki was better. He pointed at Tsunade and yelled at him. This kind of death-defying behavior was simply too terrifying. Mr. Yako couldn't imagine it at all. Damn, Hazuki is too bold. Even Tsunade dares to provoke him. Is this the way a genius does things? Teacher Yako looked at Hazuki carefully, and to be honest, she admired Hazuki's courage. Even a girl like her, Chunin, dared not speak like that, let alone ordinary students, but Hazuki dared to say it confidently, and Hazuki was a man. It's so extraordinary at such a young age. I don't know what level it will reach in the future. I'm really looking forward to it. Yako-sensei said secretly, thinking about whether to teach Hazuki his ninjutsu skills. Look again. My ninjutsu is very difficult. Hazuki may not be able to learn it. Teacher Yako was silent for a few seconds, and decided to wait for a while. Front. Hazuki didn't know what Yako-sensei was thinking, and he walked while waiting for the quest reward to appear. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. Reward. Hemostasis plus healing plus 10% physical enhancement. The sound of the system machinery sounded, and a warm current like a hot spring swept through Hazuki's body and mind, and his strength increased again in a short period of time. Feeling the increase in strength, Hazuki's mood has improved a lot, and he finally understands that there are more iconic areas in the original anime, which can increase the trigger probability of god-level selection. Advertisement. It seems that we need to go to more famous places. Hokage Office, Hokage Rock, these iconic places are all good places to go. Hazuki said secretly, and decided to go shopping more when he had nothing to do. And just like that, Hazuki came to the school in contemplation and walked into the class. Swish. In the classroom, Kushina saw Hazuki coming to the class and immediately stood up from her seat. But when she saw Mr. Yako behind Hazuki, she frowned and sat back. Dear classmates, this morning is a wild survival class. Let's go to the woods to practice the knowledge of wild survival. Teacher Yazi came to the podium and announced loudly, guiding the students to go out. This kind of off-campus class is very popular among students, because they can play and play at will, which is much better than the boring study in the class, so the students are happy one by one. Teacher Yazi, let's go to the open space above Hokage Rock. There are woods and a small river there. It is a good practice site. Hazuki came to Teacher Yazi and suggested. Above Hokage Rock. When Teacher Yazi heard Hazuki's words, she wanted to refuse, but thinking of Hazuki's genius thinking, she hesitated for 2 seconds and said, okay, then let's go to Hokage Rock. It is good. Hazuki smiled and took the lead towards the clearing above Hokage Rock. A group of children soon followed behind him, including Kushina, but she seemed to be thinking something and kept looking at Hazuki's arm. After a few minutes, everyone came to the top of Hokage Rock and started the practice of survival in the wild according to the teacher's request. In fact, The task in this regard is very simple, that is, let yourself eat and survive. Ninjas often consume food when they go out for missions. At this time, the importance of survival in the wild is reflected, and it is also one of the reasons why ninjas are required to take courses. Advertisement. Today Hazuki and their mission is to cooperate to find ingredients for lunch. Kushina, you bring some girls to find edible plants. Nawaki, you bring people to pick up firewood. Hazuki, Minato, you bring people to catch fish. Teacher Yazi arranged the task. Good teacher. At the request of the teacher, a group of children happily ran to their respective areas. Hazuki was not in a hurry to catch the fish, but walked leisurely towards the river, even muttering something in his mouth. If only this girl Makoto was here, she could give me grilled fish, but unfortunately she was busy in the shop and didn't go to school today. Shaking his head, Hazuki came to the river, but saw Namikaze Minato standing in the middle of the river, stepping on the water to catch fish. And several male classmates were looking at Namikaze Minato in surprise. It's amazing that Namikaze Minato can tread water. Yeah, I heard that this is the ability taught by the teacher who led the team after graduation. Namikaze Minato actually knows it now. He really is a genius. Although Namikaze Minato is a little unstable, he can walk on the water. This celestial appearance is really enviable. It's really good. I'm afraid it's better than Hazuki. After all, this is treading water. It took my father 2 months to learn to tread water. A group of students were chatting by the river, looking at Namikaze Minato with admiration and envy in their eyes. Namikaze Minato heard these remarks, but he did not speak, but tried to catch the fish with a sunny smile. Hyuga Hazuki is here, he's so slow, he doesn't plan to be lazy. Shish, don't talk nonsense, do you want to be beaten? You forgot how badly Tien Gang was slapped. That's right, don't talk nonsense. Several students hurriedly closed their eyes, not daring to provoke Hazuki at all. Advertisement. People who are good are bullied by others, and horses who are good are ridden by others. Instead, Namikaze Minato waved to Hazuki with a smile. Hazuki came to my side. There are a lot of fish here, and they are very big. Yes. Hazuki glanced at Namikaze Minato in the water, and then, under everyone's attention, stepped on the water and came to the middle of the river step by step, and finally stood calmly on the water. All the students, including Namikaze Minato, looked at Hazuki in disbelief, their eyes widened. Okay. That's amazing, Hazuki can even tread water. This is too stable. Even Namikaze Minato walked carefully to the middle of the water, but Hazuki walked so calmly, it was amazing. Alas, the gap is too big. I haven't even refined chakra yet. I don't know when I will be eligible to learn to tread water. Several students were discussing that the original admiration for Namikaze Minato had all shifted to Hazuki's side. This kid has even surpassed me in treading water. Namikaze Minato looked at Hazuki next to him dejectedly, and a deep sense of frustration emerged in his heart. The joy of learning to tread water was also shattered, and Jiraiya's praise when learning to tread water seemed so ironic at this moment. Hazuki is really good, he can even tread water, but I will soon surpass you, because I learned both abilities together, and I learned to tread water super fast. Even if I climb trees slowly, I only need to practice for another day. Can learn. Namikaze Minato said secretly, clasping his hands tightly, cheering himself up in his heart. Be careful. Not good. 24 Close black lens bracket sword art grandmaster. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The exclamation came from a distance, and the voice was obviously from the direction of the girl. What's the matter? Did something happen to those girls? I don't know. Why don't we go take a look? It was Kushina who fell. Hazuki frowned. Looking over his shoulder, Hazuki saw Kushina sitting on the ground, clutching his knees, as if he had fallen from a tree. This girl is really worrying. Hazuki shook his head helplessly and walked in the direction of the girl. Namikaze Minato and the others in the back followed closely behind. After a while, Hazuki came to a fruit forest and saw a few girls around Kushina to greet him. And Kushina clasped her knee tightly without saying a word, but the pain that flashed from time to time in those beautiful eyes proved that she was in pain. Ding. Please choose. 1. Find a medical ninja to treat Kushina. Reward. Introduction to swordsmanship. 2. Treat Kushina with medical ninjutsu in person. Reward. Daojutsu Grandmaster. 3. Let Kushina bite your arm. Reward. Forbidden technique Ghoul Seal plus a small amount of chakra. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Ghoul Seal. Hazuki frowned as he watched the final reward. This ability was a little unsuitable for him. Advertisement. Although it may be used in the future, it is of little significance. The most important thing is that letting Kushina bite his arm will reveal the secret of his physique, so Hazuki chose the second option. Open black lens bracket ding. After the selection is complete, please complete the task as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Get out of the way. After Hazuki made his choice, he strongly ordered the girls to leave, and then came to Kushina's side to check her injuries. It doesn't matter this inspection, Hazuki's brows furrowed even tighter, and he couldn't help but feel a little distressed. Because this girl's fair and tender knees were already covered with blood, and looked very miserable. Fortunately, the injury on that little knee wasn't too serious, and Hazuki was confident enough to cure her. Therefore, Hazuki's large hand was on Kushina's knee, ready to heal her. What are you doing? Kushina felt the temperature of Hazuki's big hand, and the whole person panicked, and hurriedly grabbed Hazuki's clothes to stop it. The students around saw this scene and stared at Hazuki with angry eyes, because Kushina was injured, but Hazuki took advantage of her, which is really hateful. Hyuga Hazuki, I didn't expect you to be such a person. Namikaze Minato stared at Hazuki angrily, with a flash of disgust in his eyes. Although he is a competitor with Hazuki, he has always regarded Hazuki as a classmate, and now Hazuki's behavior makes him very angry. Hyuga Hazuki let go quickly, otherwise I'm welcome. Namikaze Minato clenched his fists and said, ready to stop, but the next second Namikaze Minato's eyes widened. Because a pale green light shone in Hazuki's palm, that iconic brilliance was the light of healing art. It turned out to be a healing art. Namikaze Minato looked at Hazuki in disbelief. A storm surged in his heart. It turns out that Hazuki was there to treat Kushina, we're wrong to blame him. Advertisement. Wait, didn't Hyuga Hazuki's chakra only be refined for 4 to 5 days, and he actually learned the healing art again? Don't forget, Hyuga Hazuki can tread water. Impossible, it's impossible, I don't believe it, how can I learn so much in just a few days, I haven't even extracted chakra. We must be hallucinating, we must be dazzled, mother, it's too scary. Several boys were talking, looking at Hazuki with horror in their eyes. There's no way Hazuki's performance is too evil. Most of the students in the same period did not extract chakra, but Hazuki was better, not only learned to tread water, but also learned healing. Such a gap even Namikaze Minato is not calm. Has your strength reached this level? Namikaze Minato looked at Hazuki with complicated eyes, with frustration in his expression, the pride in his heart, and the blow to his body. The surrounding students also stared blankly at Hazuki, and they didn't know whether it was lucky or unfortunate. On the contrary, Kushina had seen the big brother, Daxian Kamui, but he quickly recovered his calm state, and then took advantage of the moment Hazuki treated her, and quickly lifted Hazuki's arm. The next second, she was stunned. Since Hazuki's arm is intact and has no teeth marks, it is obvious that Hazuki is not a big brother. Loss surfaced on Kushina's little face. She fell into loneliness and longing again, even her little face looked a little morbidly pale, and then she shoved Hazuki's big hand away, not letting Hazuki touch her. What are you doing? Hazuki looked at Kushina with a frown. Her injuries have not been treated yet and need to be continued. Sorry, you are not qualified to touch me, except for the big brother, no one is qualified to touch me. Kushina said with a pale face and a very tough attitude. This advertisement. Hazuki was slightly taken aback when he heard Kushina's words, but for a moment he didn't know what to say. The people around were also at a loss, unable to figure out who the big brother Kushina was talking about. But Kushina's injury can't be delayed any longer and must be treated as soon as possible, otherwise he may lose too much blood. But Kushina's tough attitude also showed her determination. It's really difficult. Hazuki let out a sigh of relief, and his right hand landed on Kushina's snow neck like lightning, knocking her out easily, and then he put the fainted Kushina in his arms and continued to treat her. Okay, it's quiet now. Hazuki said indifferently. The healing technique on his hand shone brightly again, quickly healing Kushina's injury. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Minato shook his head speechlessly, sighing in his heart that he, Hyuga Hazuki, can treat such a cute girl so rudely. But Namikaze Minato didn't speak anymore, but watched silently until Hazuki finished treating Kushina before he spoke. Okay Hazuki, leave Kushina to me, you will have a rest. Namikaze Minato finished speaking, and planned to come over to take care of Kushina, seemingly planning to pick her up. No need. Hazuki replied indifferently, and then took Kushina to rest on a large rock in the form of a princess hug. What are you still doing? Hurry up and catch the fish. After Hazuki sat down with Kushina in his arms, he saw Namikaze Minato following, and immediately opened his mouth to drive him away. Okay. Namikaze Minato shrugged helplessly and turned around to catch the fish. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the task, and the reward, Grand Master of Swordsmanship. Close black lens bracket. As the system's voice fell, the warm current reappeared, but Hazuki stared at Kushina in his arms in a daze, thinking about whether to tell her his identity. What this girl said just now really touched his heart. Although it was not about love, it definitely made him have a good impression of Kushina. But it is not easy for many people to know his identity, especially Kushina may become Jinchuriki in the future. But looking at Kushina's pale face in his arms, Hazuki really felt a little distressed. Open black lens bracket 25 close black lens bracket unreasonable. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What should I do? Doubt appeared in Hazuki's mind. A faint warm feeling that has never been seen before, along with Kushina's words just now, always haunts Hazuki's heart. This girl seems to like my identity. Hazuki frowned slightly, thinking about the pros and cons of telling Kushina that identity. After some thought, Hazuki was sure that it would be in his best interest not to reveal his identity, but Kushina might be sad, lonely, and unhappy because of this, which was indeed cruel to her. It seems that in the future, we should pay more attention to this girl. Hazuki shook his head helplessly and made a secret decision in his heart. At the same time, he stared at Kushina's small face gently, and his big hand ran across Kushina's hair, which was as silky as silk. Faintly, Hazuki smelled a faint scent that seemed to be Kushina's body scent. Holding her gently, Hazuki looked up at the sky silently, his beautiful white eyes brighter. Maybe it was a good decision. The sun was shining, the birds were singing and the flowers were fragrant. The warm sun shone on Kushina, making her feel warm. Her long eyelashes blinked slightly, and she slowly opened her eyes. The first thing that caught her eye was Hazuki's profile, that angular face that looked even more handsome in the sun. Advertisement. A familiar feeling came to mind, and Kushina always felt that he was in the arms of a big brother. And there was a familiar smell lingering on the nose, much like Big Brother, but Kushina looked at Hazuki's arm and knew it wasn't Big Brother. When she bit the Big Brother, she still left a small circle of teeth marks even though she used very little force. At first, Kushina wondered why the teeth marks were left, but later she wanted to understand the reason. Obviously, she absorbed the vitality of the Big Brother, which left a small tooth mark on the arm of the Big Brother. Thinking of the Big Brother's contribution, Kushina's heart became more and more moved. I'm sorry, except for the Big Brother, who is qualified to touch me. Although I appreciate your help, I still can't. Kushina stood up from Hazuki's arms and said calmly. She has found herself recovering from her injuries, and she's grateful, but that's not an excuse to hold her. It's all right, you'll be fine. Hazuki whispered softly, not in the slightest unhappy, but with a smile. Because the Big Brother is him, how could he blame this girl? I went to pick fruit. Kushina looked at Hazuki's smile and felt a little warm in her heart, but she didn't want to have too much contact with any man other than her Big Brother, so she found a reason to leave. Fruit picking. Your injury is just right, not suitable for sports. Hazuki frowned. It's okay. I'm already fine, and I haven't picked the fruit for lunch. It's my dereliction of duty as the team leader. Kushina glanced at the fruit tree not far away, where she fell, and the girls she led, like octopus, tried to climb the tree to pick the fruit. But their clumsy appearance, they didn't even climb a third of the way up, they slid down. Seeing this scene, Kushina shook his head helplessly and turned to the tall fruit tree, as if planning to climb the tree again to pick the fruit. Ding! Please choose. Advertisement. 1. Agree with Kushina to pick fruit and protect her under the tree. Reward. Seal of 5 elements. 2. Appease Kushina well. Look for Namikaze Minato to pick fruit. Reward. Decapitation technique. 3. Stop Kushina and pick the fruit on her behalf. Reward. 10% physical enhancement plus a small amount of chakra. Hearing the sound of the system in his head, Hazuki froze for a moment, then Yishi. Sure enough, above the Hokage rock, this iconic and important area can easily trigger god-level choices. It seems that we will go to such areas more in the future. Hazuki secretly said, and quickly swept the 3 options at the same time. The second option would definitely not be chosen. Let Namikaze Minato behave in front of Kushina. That would be an absolute fool's behavior, and the sealing technique of the first option, Hazuki, disliked it. In the end, Hazuki chose the third option. Although there is no ninjutsu reward, his physique and chakra are not bad. So Hazuki, who made the decision, turned to look at Kushina. Kushina, just wait here, just pick the fruit and leave it to me. Hazuki stopped Kushina forcefully, then turned and walked towards the tall fruit tree. Okay. You guys, get out of the way. Hazuki opened the mouth and drove the girls away, step by step to the fruit tree. Hazuki, do you want to help us pick fruit? This fruit tree is too tall, we can't climb it. A girl said delicately. Yes, this fruit tree is too tall, but it also bears the most fruit. Hazuki, why don't you find a few more male classmates over here, and let them pick whoever is good at climbing trees? Several girls were talking, seeking Hazuki's opinion, and their words caught the attention of the surrounding male students. The boys looked over curiously, and even Namikaze Minato, who was going to catch fish, looked over. Advertisement. You wait under the tree, I'll climb the tree and pick the fruit. Hazuki said lightly. When the words fell, he stepped on the tree and walked to the top of the fruit tree step by step under the watchful eyes of the public. In the process, he was as simple as an understatement, not like the girls crawling like octopus. Such a scene, such a way of climbing a tree, made everyone's eyes widen, and Namikaze Minato, who was silently observing, was shocked. Climbing trees. How is this possible? Namikaze Minato said in disbelief. His calm demeanor could no longer be maintained, and it turned into horror. Previously, he thought that Hazuki only learned to tread water, and Namikaze Minato also planned to learn to climb trees as soon as possible, and then get back to the field, but he didn't expect that Hazuki could even climb trees. This result really stunned him. You must know that it has not even been 5 days since he learned to refine chakra before. In such a short period of time, Namikaze Minato extracted chakra and learned to tread water. Even Jiraiya was amazed at such a fast speed. However, he was so good that he was hit again and again by Hazuki, and even a critical hit at the end, which really made him depressed, and even his self-confidence was very low. I even learned to climb trees, it's really unreasonable. Namikaze Minato said depressedly. That's right, mother, I haven't even succeeded in refining chakra, but Hazuki knows so much, I'm really mad. A boy said sullenly. Compared to Hyuga Hazuki, I feel like I'm just trash. It's not trash, it could be trash. Quote. Several boys looked at Hazuki and talked a lot, feeling envious and jealous. As for the girls, they looked at Hazuki with curiosity and admiration, and Kushina's eyes widened in surprise at Hazuki's performance. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the task. Reward. 10% physical enhancement plus a small amount of chakra. Open black lens bracket 26 close black lens bracket Namikaze Minato is very good. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. A warm feeling flowed through his body, like a hot spring, which made Hazuki very comfortable, and at the same time he felt a little joy in his heart. Because his strength is stronger, especially in terms of physique, he is stronger than some ninjas who have been practicing hard for many years. Such an improvement method is simply not too cool. Certainly. Although his strength has improved, his expression has not changed in the slightest. Instead, it seems that nothing has happened, and he calmly plucks the fruit from the tree. As for the surrounding discussions and admiration, Hazuki ignored it, because it was all illusory, and the only thing that really helped was strength. So after Hazuki finished picking the fruit, he walked to Kushina calmly and sat next to her in her little surprise. Far away. When Namikaze Minato saw this scene, Zhang Jiyu wanted to say something, but in the end he sighed helplessly, and at the same time, he was even more eager for strength. Master Jiraiya, when you come back, I must learn summoning technique like you and prove that I am better than Hyuga Hazuki. Namikaze Minato said secretly, clenching his fists tightly. Hazuki's strength brought him a lot of pressure. The two best people in the class had become Hazuki's thriving star, and Namikaze Minato became the second. Unwilling, Namikaze Minato can only swear to work harder. The other side. Hazuki sat next to Kushina, silently checking his data panel, arranging the next route. First of all, interact more with plot characters in iconic areas, which is for sure, because more god-level choices can be triggered. Advertisement. Then refine chakra and practice the 8 trigrams 64 palms unique to the Hyuga clan. As for 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven. As an ordinary clan, Hazuki does not have a cultivation method for the time being. Unless he performs well enough, he may be valued by the clan and give him the cultivation method of revolving heaven, which is one of the reasons why Hazuki is so high profile. Of course, high profile may also be valued by Konoha executives, giving various secret techniques, the practice of forbidden technique, and summoning. Like the summoning beasts of the 3 holy lands, Hazuki still wants to have them, especially the Toad and Sage mode, which are very good. It's a pity that Hazuki heard that Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato were in contact before, which means that Jiraiya has decided to accept Namikaze Minato as a disciple, and even they may already be masters and students, so there is not much hope of accepting Hazuki as a student. As for the rest of Tsunade and Orochimaru, Hazuki can only try his best. As long as he becomes their student, he will definitely be able to obtain various secret techniques more easily, forbidden technique. But this is the way back. Hazuki is not in a hurry. There are still several years before they graduate from the ninja school. Hazuki has time. If he can obtain the secret technique and forbidden technique through the god-level selection in the past few years, then Hazuki will no longer need to consider these alternatives. Thinking of this, Hazuki looked at Kushina who was sitting next to him, thinking about how to continue triggering the god-level choice. Everyone, listen to me, we found a big wild boar. It's very fierce. Come and help catch him. Naoki suddenly ran out of the woods and said loudly. At the moment, he was a little embarrassed, his clothes were dirty, and there was dirt on his face, but he was very excited, and it seemed that he really found a wild boar in the woods. But the surrounding students were a little suspicious of his words, because the nearby forest had been cleared by ninjas, and it was difficult to see other beasts except for the occasional hares and pheasants. Therefore, someone questioned and said, Naoki, what are you saying is true? Don't be kidding. I'm not kidding, there really is a wild boar. The 5 of us are rounding up it, but we haven't been successful until we find you. Naoki assured, looking back from time to time. Here it comes, the boar has come this way. Naoki suddenly yelled after seeing something. Following his voice, a big black wild boar hummed out of the woods and ran around in a panic. Advertisement. Its body is surrounded by some dry mud, and a handful of kunwu is stuck in the buttocks, but because of the protection of the soil, the kunwu is not deep, and it can barely see blood. When the students saw this scene, their eyes widened, and then they shouted and rushed towards the wild boar, and the kunai in their hands flew towards the big wild boar like raindrops. It's a pity that these students' kunai throwing is too rubbish, and 10 kunai may not hit one, and they can't cause effective damage to the wild boar. However, at this moment, a sharp kunai flew out at extreme speed, with a cracking sound, penetrated the soil like lightning, and stabbed the side of the big wild boar. It is good. Countless cheers rang out, and everyone turned to look at the direction of kunai throwing, only to see Namikaze Minato taking out a handful of kunai again with a smile. Whoosh! Another kunai threw out, hitting the side of the big wild boar precisely, nailing it to the meat of the big wild boar, and it turned around and ran away in pain. Hurry up and stop it, Minato, come on and attack it, we'll buy you time. Naoki hurriedly said. It is good. Namikaze Minato is also unequivocal. Kunai threw them out one by one, bringing a strong wind one after another and flew to the big wild boar, each of which could be nailed to the big wild boar, causing damage to it. It's a pity that the big wild boar has rough skin and thick flesh. Even if it is hit by Kuu several times, it still jumps around, and even becomes a little crazy because of the pain. Bang. It hurts. Damn it. This wild boar is so tenacious, it's okay to be hit so many times. A student was hit by the wild boar and grinned in pain. Don't be discouraged. With Minato here, we can definitely win. Nawaki cheered. Yes, everyone, come on. A group of students roared energetically, and gathered around to prevent the big wild boar from escaping. Advertisement. Their efforts were all worth it. After a long period of dealing, the speed of the big wild boar became slower and slower, and the whole body was even more scarred. Finally, after struggling for a few minutes, Namikaze Minato hit the eye in the eye and died in a howl. Good Minato, you made it. Amazing Minato, that's amazing. When the students saw the death of the wild boar, they cheered and praised Namikaze Minato, and looked at Namikaze Minato with admiration one by one. Hearing the compliment, Namikaze Minato looked at Hazuki and Kushina and smiled confidently. The other side. In a hidden corner of the woods. Teacher Yako and a man with a pig face mask watched the entire battle. Number 3, your summoning beast is dead, how is Minato doing? Teacher Yako smiled. It's very good. Although this wild boar is very weak, it is not something that these little devils can kill. Even Genin has to work hard. I didn't expect Namikaze Minato to kill it, which is very good. The pig face mask man said in admiration, and was very satisfied with Namikaze Minato's performance. Does that focus on cultivating him? After all, he is a student that Mr. Jiraiya values. Teacher Yako said. Wait first, there is someone who is more suitable to focus on training. The man with the pig face mask suddenly said. Anyone else? Who? Teacher Yazi was puzzled, and a figure flashed in his mind. Could it be him? But why? Minato is obviously someone Jiraiya-sama values. Is he better than Minato? Open black lens bracket 27 close black lens bracket roast suckling pig. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You're right, it's him, Hyuga Hazuki. The man in the pig face mask said solemnly. Why? Hazuki didn't take action just now. How do you judge his extraordinariness? Teacher Yazi asked suspiciously, although she knew that Hazuki was equally good, but she knew that after seeing it with her own eyes, but the number 3 next to her swears that Hazuki is better, which is very strange. The reason is simple. The pig face mask was silent for 2 seconds and said, because Hyuga Hazuki found us. Impossible. Our current location is a special hidden spot. The students who came to the test in the past have not noticed this, and Hazuki has not opened his eyes to observe, how could he know? Teacher Yazi retorted in disbelief. Ah. The man with the pig face mask smiled and said, the boy named Hazuki just now looked at our position 3 times and locked onto me every time. Obviously he found us. No. No, it's so far away that it's hard to spot us if you don't open your eyes, and the ability to observe alone is not enough to prove that Hazuki is better than Minato. Don't forget, Minato is what Jiraiya-sama values. Quote. Teacher Yazi continued to shake her head, still in disbelief. After all, Jiraiya is Hokage's disciple, and her strength is boundless. You don't believe it? Then I'll prove it to you. The man with the pig face mask smiled slightly, his hands quickly formed a seal, and then he bit his fingers like lightning. Summoning technique. Bang. The white smoke rolled, and a black shadow loomed in the smoke, and soon the smoke dissipated, and a huge black wild boar appeared in front of the 2 of them. This black wild boar was a full circle bigger than the one just now, and it had sharp fangs, blood-red eyes, and it looked very brutal. The dry soil around it was even thicker. Go. The pig face masked man waved at the black wild boar. Advertisement. Hum. The black wild boar got the order, stepped on the pig's feet, and rammed towards the open space above the Hokage rock. Even Genin was a little scared when he saw it. This ninja beast is at least twice as strong as the one just now. Will it hurt those children? Teacher Yazi looked worried. Don't worry. If there is any danger, I will take action as soon as possible. This time I will mainly test Hazuki's strength. If he can last 5 minutes in front of the big wild boar, his strength will definitely be comparable to that of Namikaze Minato. If he lasts longer, that Hazuki is even more extraordinary. The man with the pig face mask explained lightly, and his voice carried the confidence of strategizing. That's fine. I hope Hazuki can last a little longer. I actually really want to accept him as a disciple. Teacher Yazi nodded, and he still recognized Hazuki's talent. Of course, subconsciously, she felt that Namikaze Minato was better. After all, she was the one that Jiraiya-sama valued. The other side. In the middle of the Hokage rock clearing. A large group of students, including Namikaze Minato and Nawaki, were sitting around the newly killed wild boar, discussing what to do with the wild boar. Minato, you killed this wild boar, you decide what to do with it. Nawaki patted the dirt on his body. Although the main force of the battle just now was Minato, their helpers were not lightly tired, and their clothes were stained with a lot of dirt, so they sat down to recover their stamina while slapping the dirt. How about we eat it? A student suggested to Namikaze Minato. Yeah, just lunch is settled, good suggestion. I agree, what do you think, Minato? The students all looked at Minato at the same time, waiting for his answer. That's okay. Since everyone suggested that, let's eat pork at noon. Namikaze Minato said with a sunny smile. The dust on his clothes is obviously much less. Obviously, even if the main combat power is him, his state is the best among this group of children, which also proves that his strength is the strongest. Only. Advertisement. Just at this time. Just when they were discussing how to eat pork. The sound of bang 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 suddenly came from the forest, followed by a bigger wild boar, rushing out with red eyes. Missed slot, why is there another big wild boar? It's still so big. Isn't he a male, and he has 2 big teeth? Could he be in the same family as the wild boar just now? Everyone be careful, it's rushing over. Damn, I'm out of energy. The students hurriedly stood up, ready to fight again, but with little physical strength left, they lost their confidence when they saw the big wild boar rushing like an armored vehicle. Everyone hurry up and hide, I will buy time for everyone to recover their physical strength. Namikaze Minato hurriedly commanded the battle, and then reached out to the ninja kit. Damn, there's only one kunai left. Namikaze Minato muttered badly. Be careful, it's coming. Get out of the way. Huh, how did it bypass us and run over there? The students scratched their heads inexplicably as the big wild boar ran around them and ran to the other side. Namikaze Minato is also the same doubt, he and others killed the companion of the big wild boar, but why did it run to the other side? But he didn't have time to think now, because the direction the big wild boar ran was where Hazuki and Kushina were, and Namikaze Minato couldn't let the big wild boar hurt Kushina. So he hurriedly threw out the only kunai, hoping to buy time. Choke. The dust splashed, and the sharp kunai were bounced off by the thick hard clods on the big wild boar. Damn, it bounced. Kushina, be careful. Advertisement. Namikaze Minato hurriedly reminded loudly, thinking about how to stop the big wild boar, but at this stage, he has just refined chakra, and he has not learned a single ninjutsu, so he can only watch the big wild boar rush towards Kushina. Right now, the Hazuki who was sitting next to Kushina suddenly stood up, and then fire style great fireball technique. An indifferent voice came out of Hazuki's mouth, and as the fiery flames of the voice swarmed away, it slammed into the big wild boar with a searing heat wave. Boom. Howl. The mournful screams of pigs echoed over Hokage Rock, accompanied by a spreading heat wave and the smell of oven pigs. Wind style great breakthrough. The indifferent voice sounded again, and the strong wind blew the flames even more violently, and at the same time made the screams of the wild boar even more miserable. Howl. The screams continued, but gradually became smaller under the terrifying high temperature. Finally, at the moment when the flames dissipated, the screams of the wild boars completely calmed down. It died completely and was roasted into a pig. Namikaze Minato stared blankly at this scene, the big wild boar that died completely, and Hazuki who sat back indifferently next to Kushina. He was completely dumbfounded. I read that right. Hazuki even learned 2 kinds of ninjutsu, and used this combination of ninjutsu to kill the big wild boar in seconds. It's so strong. Just now, a group of us and Namikaze Minato barely killed a small wild boar, but Hazuki actually killed a big wild boar in 1 second. This is too strong. Damn, how could Hyuga Hazuki be so strong? It's amazing that he learned to tread water and climb trees in a short period of time, but damn, Hyuga Hazuki has 2 hidden ninjutsu cards, the gap is too big. Damn it, Hazuki is so strong. The students talked a lot, looking at Hazuki with envy and jealousy, and some were in awe. Open black lens bracket 28 close black lens bracket A condition. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After all, the ability Hazuki showed was really excellent. Even if they were jealous, they still looked at Hazuki with admiration. As for the little girls in the class, they blinked their black eyes and looked left and right at Hazuki, becoming more and more curious. Some little girls even worship Hazuki and almost become his little fangirls. Certainly. The students were just shocked by the ninjutsu, but Mr. Yako and the man in the pig face mask were shocked by the speed at which Hazuki performed the ninjutsu. The quick release and combination of the two ninjutsu surprised the two of them. This Hazuki turned out to be better than I thought, even I was wrong. The man with the pig face mask couldn't believe it, his eyes no longer had the confidence and calmness he had just now, some were just incredible. Hazuki's printing speed is too fast, and the way the wind helps the fire is very exciting. Teacher Yazi also praised, and he wanted to accept Hazuki as his apprentice even more, and the hidden trick also wanted to teach Hazuki more and more. Yeah, I just estimated that he could last 5 or 6 minutes under the attack of the big wild boar at most, but I didn't expect him to kill the big wild boar in seconds. What a genius. The man with the pig face mask continued to praise, but suddenly he thought of something, and the whole person froze in place. God, my ninja beast, this big wild boar is my important mount. The man in the pig face mask wailed, wanting to vomit blood in depression. He just planned to test Hazuki's strength, but he didn't expect Hazuki to be too good to kill his ninja beast, which made him depressed. Headache. Really headache. It's not a good thing for the students to be too good, alas. Don't be discouraged, you will be fine if you keep a few more big wild boars later. Now that you can find such outstanding talents, it is a great achievement for you to recommend it to Hokage. Teacher Yazi explained with a smile. Advertisement. That's true, but I need to inspect him again. After all, the growth of a genius is multifaceted, and he must be inspected from many aspects. The pig face masked man continued to speak. Okay, let's do it. After the students have refined chakra, I will teach them the 3-body technique as soon as possible. In addition, I will discuss with Teacher Yu and hold a competition with the students in her class. Teacher Yazi thought for a while. Yes, I will pay attention to him during this time. If Hazuki is really good, I will definitely report it, and even apply for a powerful ninja to accept him as a student, such as Master Tsunade, Master Orochimaru. The pig face mask man solemnly assured. Those two adults. If you become their students, then the future is really bright. Teacher Yazi is a little bit tasteful, she actually wants to accept Hazuki, but she will not block Hazuki's way, only bless him. While the two were talking about Hazuki, Hazuki sat quietly beside Kushina, listening to the system voice coming from his mind. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the option, and the reward will be increased by 10% plus a small amount of chakra. Close black lens bracket. The warmth flowed through his body again, and Hazuki's lips curled into a smile, and his strength was improved again, which made him feel even happier. Thank you Hazuki, you helped me again. Kushina's voice came from the side, and it was very nice and grateful. Hearing her voice, Hazuki turned to look at Kushina, who was all right, and smiled. It's okay, if you feel you owe me, then promise me a condition. What conditions? Kushina was puzzled, with vigilance in her beautiful eyes. If it was an excessive condition, she would reject it immediately. Let me see. Hazuki tilted his head and thought, and now I really don't know what conditions to put forward. This girl doesn't have much money, but she knows some ninjutsu, such as sealing or something. But Hazuki doesn't plan to study sealing in the short term, as his next target is 8 trigrams air palm. This ninjutsu is very similar to the future Otsutsuki Keigaya's 8 trigrams air palm. If you learn the 8 trigrams air palm, you may have a chance to learn the 8 trigrams air palm. Advertisement. Thinking of the power of the 80 gods air strike, Hazuki's eyes lit up involuntarily. The ability to easily crush Susanoo should not be too strong. Of course, don't worry now, everything is based on triggering god-level choices, supplemented by learning ninjutsu taijutsu. Hazuki will not go in the wrong direction. Swish. The breeze blew, and Teacher Yako suddenly appeared in the center of the venue. She glanced at Hazuki without a trace, and then greeted all the students to prepare for cooking. Teacher, we decided to eat this wild boar. It's really a waste to lose so much meat. Someone said. Yes, teacher, this is a good thing, and it can be sold for money. The roast pork is delicious. It's been a long time since I've eaten roast pork. The students talked a lot and made suggestions to the teacher. After Mr. Yazzie heard their words, the corners of his eyes twitched, and he glanced at the forest behind him without a trace, and then said embarrassingly, "Eat if you want, anyway, they're dead." Great. The students cheered and got busy. Ding. Please choose. 1. Instruct the students to cook, and then be the first to enjoy the food. Reward. Wind-style gale palm. 2. Cook with everyone, enjoy the fruits of labor together, and reward. Seal of evil. 3. Show off your cooking skills and let others see your brilliance. Reward. Battle Grandmaster plus a small amount of chakra. Advertisement. What? Looking at the god-level choice that suddenly appeared, Hazuki's eyes flashed, and he carefully recalled the information about wind-style gale palm in the anime. It seems to be a C-rank ninjutsu. It's not very good. The evil magic seal is a sealing technique that seals the curse seal. It will be useful in the future, but unfortunately it is not good enough. The final battle Grandmaster and a small amount of chakra are also reluctant. Hazuki secretly analyzed the god-level options, and finally decided to choose the third option. Although this one only adds a small amount of chakra, adding more points is better than nothing. So after Hazuki made his choice, he turned to look at Kushina. I thought of the conditions I just said. You can go to the teacher and ask for the tools and seasonings for cooking. Tools and seasonings for cooking. Kushina's little head was a little foggy. She never thought it was such a condition, she thought it was an excessive condition. Yes, let's go. Oh. Hazuki watched Kushina walk away. His eyes swept across the burnt big wild boar. He suddenly thought of a dish, and then took out his kunai and walked over. Time passed little by little, and an hour passed quickly. Above the originally noisy Hokage rock, it became very quiet at this moment, only the sound of swallowing saliva occasionally sounded. Everyone, including the teacher and the students, as well as the man with the pig face mask hidden in the dark, all fixed their eyes on Hazuki at this moment, and looked at him one by one swallowing their saliva. As for Kushina, he was already standing beside Hazuki like a greedy cat, waiting with two small hands holding tableware and chopsticks. Okay. Okay Hazuki. Kushina swallowed. Open black lens bracket 29 close black lens bracket so delicious. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It should be almost there. Hazuki looked at the food in the pot and nodded in satisfaction. The material is pork, so braised pork is indispensable for the food, and the meat of the wild boar is better, and the braised pork is more fragrant and pure and delicious. The sound of swallowing saliva all around is enough to prove this, especially Kushina. This girl has asked no less than 5 times. What a greedy cat. Hazuki shook his head amusingly, and placed the braised pork on the rice plate. Alright, let's try it. Hazuki beckoned to Kushina. Finally, I can't wait. Hearing Hazuki's words, Kushina quickly added a piece of braised pork into the small soup with chopsticks, and was immediately sucked by the hot little soup, but it did not hinder her eating speed. It's delicious, it's so fragrant. Slow down, no one will rob you. Looking at Kushina's anxious attitude, Hazuki reminded her not to burn her, and at the same time marked her as a snack food. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the task. Reward. Battle Grandmaster plus a small amount of chakra. The sound of the system machinery came, and Hazuki had a lot of combat knowledge in his mind, and the whole person's actual combat ability was greatly improved. He absorbed this knowledge without a trace, and did not show it at all. Instead, he accompanied Kushina to dinner with tableware and chopsticks. Kushina, is braised pork delicious? Hazuki looked at Kushina with a smile. It's delicious, it's so delicious. Kushina nodded, and Xiao Yu kept tasting the food. Advertisement. Do you still want to eat in the future? Think. That's called Hazuki Big Brother. Hazuki said badly. Yi. Hazuki Big Brother. Kushina was a little embarrassed, but she was soft-hearted, and Hazuki helped her several times. She thought about it and still cried out. It's so cute. Let's eat it. Okay. The two continued to taste the food, and the sound of them tasting the food caught everyone's attention. Even Namikaze Minato looked at the braised pork from time to time. To be honest, Namikaze Minato wanted to taste the taste of braised pork because it was so fragrant that it could be clearly smelled several meters apart, but after listening to Hazuki and Kushina chatting, Namikaze Minato sighed depressedly, feeling something in his heart again. Frustration. In this world, few men can cook, but Hazuki can not only cook, but also cook so deliciously, which is too versatile. Namikaze Minato was really hit. He was very depressed after losing his strength. He even failed in life. Namikaze Minato really had nothing to say. He could only swear to work hard and work hard. When Namikaze Minato was depressed, the students next to him, Teacher Yako, and the figure with the pig face mask in the forest were all waiting eagerly, hoping to have the opportunity to taste delicious food. It was a pity that they were not invited, so they could only watch dryly. Damn, the big wild boar that killed me and ate the wild boar I raised, but I could only stare at it. The pig face mask figure was very sullen and wanted to come out and try it, but unfortunately his identity did not allow it. Alas, they will leave later. It would be nice if I could leave a few pieces for me to taste. It's so fragrant, much more fragrant than ramen. The man with the pig face mask said. His saliva almost came out, but unfortunately he could only complain in his heart. Advertisement. Time passed, and soon a few minutes passed. After eating and drinking, Kushina sat on the big rock clutching her stomach, looking at the rice bowl of braised pork with unfinished thoughts. She was really full, and even had enough to eat, but she still wanted to continue eating. There was no way. It was so delicious. What? Do you want to continue eating? If you eat more, you will become a little fat pig. Hazuki sat next to him and teased. No way, they're not little fat pigs. Kushina gave Hazuki a blank look, and finally restrained her desire to eat, turning her head to look at Hazuki curiously. Although this Hazuki big brother is not as scary as her big brother is. But she is still impressive among her peers, even her Kushina has to admit that Hazuki is really good. Hazuki, why do you cook? Isn't cooking a woman's job? Kushina asked curiously, blinking with big eyes. Call me Hazuki big brother, remember? Hazuki didn't answer, but instead ordered Kushina to change his name. Such strong words made Kushina a little dazed, because such a domineering way of speaking really looks like a big brother. But Kushina knew he wasn't, and just now Kushina figured out that the big brother was probably a member of the Uzumaki family. The ability to heal others is very similar to the special physique mentioned by the seniors of the family. Of course, this is the ninja world, and it is not ruled out that there are similar abilities, but Kushina thinks it will not be such a coincidence. After all, Hazuki is a Hyuga clan. So she came back to her senses, stopped thinking wildly, and was ready to improve her strength and work hard to find a big brother in the future, but at this moment, a light flashed in her mind. By the way, it's easy to judge whether Hazuki is a big brother or not. Can you just bite him? Kushina thought to himself, then turned to look at Hazuki's wrist. Forget it. Let's talk about it later. The chances of him being a big brother are too low. After getting along for a long time in the future, let's try again when we get a chance. Kushina thought to himself. In fact, he was more afraid of being disappointed again. Hazuki, can I have some of this braised pork? Advertisement. A girl in the class, finally unable to bear her foodie nature, walked up to Hazuki and asked embarrassedly. A few girls around saw this scene and ran over with their little feet, and even teacher Yazi came to join in the fun. Eat it, I'm full anyway, you can do whatever you want with the rest. Hazuki waved his hand and didn't care. Yeah, great, thank you Hazuki. The girls cheered, turned into snack food, ran to the pot of braised pork, and then ate it. Several girls were grateful for Hazuki's sharing, and brought some dry food picked to Hazuki. Thank you Hazuki. These ingredients are given to you, please don't refuse. Hey, this is for you too. My shuriken is for you. Several little girls chatted and gave Hazuki a lot of things. This scene made Kushina very depressed, because she ate the most and didn't give anything. Yi, Hazuki big brother, I owe you first, can I give you a gift later? Kushina said embarrassedly. Hearing her words, Hazuki was about to say yes, but the mechanical voice of the system came to his mind. Ding. Please choose 1. Agree to Kushina's proposal. Reward. Earth-style rock-stealing stick. 2. Don't give gifts from Kushina. Reward. Water-style water barrier. 3. Make excessive demands to Kushina and reward. Wind-style wind-cutting technique plus a small amount of chakra. Advertisement. 30. Mysterious reward. Ask for a monthly ticket for flowers. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Mystery reward. Seeing the god-level choice that suddenly appeared, Hazuki was delighted, but the content of the third option was a bit of a headache. Although this one has a higher reward, it is too much for Kushina, which is a bit difficult to choose. On the contrary, the first two are relatively simple, and it is easier to obtain rewards. But if he was asked to give up the high reward, Hazuki was a little reluctant, so he fell into distress. What's wrong with you, Hazuki big brother? Can I give you a gift later? Kushina didn't know about Hazuki's situation, and still asked the question just now. No, Hazuki said suddenly coldly. Ah, but I didn't bring a present. Kushina pouted, a little stingy. You make it up in another way, Hazuki suggested. Change it. Change it to what? Kushina wondered, not understanding what Hazuki meant. It's simple. Hazuki took a step forward, very close to Kushina, and in her dazed state, kissed her gently. After doing all this, Hazuki felt the warmth and softness remaining between his lips and jumped away quickly. Only Kushina was left sitting blankly on the big rock, blushing in front of everyone's eyes. Hazuki, you are going too far. After Kushina reacted, her ears were red, and she hurriedly chased after Hazuki. She would never stay above Hokage Rock for a second. Advertisement. No way, it's too embarrassing. She never expected that Hazuki would kiss her well again, this was the second time. Depressed, she vowed to make Hazuki look good, but after running for a distance, Hazuki disappeared. She pouted angrily, her little hands patted her little face, and her shyness gradually floated in her heart. Thinking that Hazuki helped her several times before and invited her to eat braised pork, Kushina's mood became very complicated. Just let you go this time, next time you kiss me, I'll. Kushina muttered, not knowing what to say, but left in a mysterious way. The other side. Hazuki came to a ninja shop to observe, thinking about buying some ninjutsu, but looking at the poor ninjutsu scrolls in the shop, Hazuki shook his head helplessly and left. Sure enough, good ninjutsu is hidden by major forces. If you want to get good ninjutsu, you can only rely on god-level choices. Of course, you can also quickly gain good abilities by worshipping a good teacher. Hazuki thought of shadow clone technique, multiple shadow clone techniques, and various forbidden techniques. These things are all very good abilities, and Hazuki will not be too much. If he can get it, Hazuki will definitely fight for it, but unfortunately, it is a bit difficult. Forget it, continue to follow the original plan, continue to attract attention with a high profile, and at the same time trigger more god-level choices. Hazuki secretly said. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to the master for completing the third item. Reward. Wind-style wind-cutting technique plus a small amount of chakra. The warm current of harvest reappeared, Hazuki's mood became a lot cheerful, and then left with a little tune. It's just that for the next month, Hazuki's mood is not very beautiful. Because the god-level choice was almost never triggered again, the big hotel partnered with Chunsai became more and more prosperous and gained a lot of wealth. For this reason, Hazuki began to spend money in grief and indignation. He spent all kinds of wealth recklessly. He found someone to repair his small house and bought a lot of new furniture and accessories. In short, advertisement. After consumption, his home has a new look and become a lot warmer and more comfortable. Then he learned 8 trigrams air palm, chakra refined a lot, his strength climbed a lot, and he was even about to impress Makoto and complete the mysterious gift bag task. Overall, he lived a very warm and happy life. This day. Ninja school. Hazuki was lying on the table playing with Makoto's little hands, thinking about why the trigger probability of the god-level selection became so low, but he couldn't figure it out after racking his brains, and instead made Makoto bow his head shyly. Hazuki big brother bullied Makoto's sister again, big villain. Kushina said fiercely, and then pulled Uchiha Makoto and whispered. After a month of getting along, Kushina and Uchiha Makoto have become good best friends, and the relationship is unimaginable. Of course, the relationship between the two of them and Hazuki is getting better and better, and they have become a small group. Namikaze Minato tried to fit in several times, but unfortunately failed. He had to mingle with Naoki, and even became the same table. Squeak. The classroom door opened, and Mr. Yako walked in with a smile. Dear students, after this period of practice, everyone's chakra has been refined, and I will teach you 3-body technique from today. 3-body technique. Great. I can finally learn ninjutsu. 3-body technique. I have been looking forward to it for a long time. I heard that Naoki has learned it. I did learn it. He demonstrated it to me yesterday, and it was amazing. The students talked a lot, looking forward to the 3-body technique, and also praised Naoki for being the first to learn the 3-body technique. Because he also learned the 3-body technique himself, according to this calculation, Hazuki will not be too bad. Maybe Hazuki was really the first to learn the 3-body technique, murmured Namikaze Minato. Advertisement. What did you say? Minato, you said that Hazuki was the first to learn the 3-body technique. Naoki next to him became unhappy when he heard Namikaze Minato's words. He spent a lot of effort and only rested for 5 hours a day. He practiced frantically every day in order to become the first and surpass Hyuga Hazuki. Originally learned 3-body technique, Naoki was secretly happy, but Namikaze Minato said that Hazuki was the first to learn, which made Naoki very angry. What I said is probably true. Don't think that Hazuki doesn't know if he doesn't show it. This guy's talent is very extraordinary. Namikaze Minato said helplessly. But I heard that he is very busy this month. He has cooperated with others to open a restaurant, and he has renovated, bought things, and chased women. Maybe he really doesn't have time to study. Naoki said without giving up. Hazuki's busyness these days can be seen by everyone, especially the closer relationship between Hazuki and Makoto, just like a boyfriend and girlfriend. This kind of thing gives everyone the illusion that Hazuki is busy with chores. That's why Naoki thought that he was the first to learn 3-body technique. If you say that, it's possible. Namikaze Minato thought about it and thought it was reasonable, and wondered if Hazuki really didn't learn the 3-body technique. In their doubts, the teacher Yako on the podium spoke again. Everyone, study hard. All students who have learned the 3-body technique are eligible to sign up with me to participate in the competition with teacher Yu's class. The first place will have a mysterious reward. Mystery reward. Everyone was stunned when they heard the word, mysterious reward, and immediately showed a curious look. What mysterious reward? Secret art. Hazuki suddenly looked up and asked. Seeing Hazuki's attitude, Naoki suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart, because only students who have learned the 3-body technique are eligible to participate in the competition, but Hazuki's confident inquiring attitude, maybe he really learned it. Hazuki must not have learned it. Hazuki must not have learned it, must have not learned it. Naoki muttered softly, his hands clasped tightly, his whole body tense. Cough cough. Teacher Yazi coughed lightly and said with a mysterious smile, the mysterious reward is